Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Brian Wilson coming to you, not from bucolic Watertown today, but here at the Nashville Rescue Mission, where we are on a mission our own selves. The goal here is to do what we can to help this wonderful charity that has been so important to this community. And you know, we really are doing so well right now. But I know that I can count on those people listening within the sound of my voice to dig deep so that we can keep this fine charity, this really lovely charity that does so many good things for so many people, changes lives by utilizing a faith-based approach that, you know, if they were to take tax dollars, as Matt Murphy said, there are always strings attached to that. But because they are a faith-based organization, this is an organization that can actually do things in a different way, and their success stories are everywhere. And if you've never listened to one of our radiothons before, settle in, because you're going to hear some amazing stories today, stories of people who have been at the very rock bottom and because of the Nashville Rescue Mission have had their lives completely turned around. Now, the way you help us is by making a donation to this great cause. And if you've ever found favor with anything that I've done, this is the way that I wish you would repay me, is by doing something great for this Nashville Rescue Mission. 615-312-1500 is the number. And we have operators standing by. And look, we're doing well. We've met our expectations, but our expectations are being reset. We are sitting at 152,876, and that's great. But we really want to blow it out this year. We really want to leave the folks here at the Nashville Rescue Mission with funds to really do the things that are needed. You know, we have a problem here in Nashville with homeless people and people who find themselves down on their luck. And I'm telling you, you may have seen it, and you may have wondered about it, and you may have thought, you know, this is a real problem for our community. I just want to let you know that the thing that we have going here would be exponentially worse in this community if it were not for the good work of the Nashville Rescue Mission. They are reaching out. They are here for people when they hit rock bottom. Maybe it's just they had some bad luck, a couple of bad turns. Maybe it has something to do with some kind of substance addiction. But I can tell you that at the end of the day, when they make their way to the Nashville Rescue Mission, the folks here, their arms are open, and they know how to do this. They know how to help those people who are at the bottom recover and start climbing out of the hole that they are in. And it's just a fantastic organization, and it's so well run, and it is very worthy of your consideration. So I ask you to dig deep today and call that number. Let's make those phones ring for the entire 4 hours that I'm here. 615-312-1500. I'm joined here by Holly Coward, who is the Family and Children Coordinator here at Nashville Rescue Mission. You know, we think of a situation, Holly, where you have people who are down on their luck. They find themselves really struggling, and we often think of them as being men, but that's really not the way it is. In real life, it's families sometimes that find themselves in trouble. And so the one thing I love about the Nashville Rescue Mission is that you are prepared to help out across the board for whoever shows up, male, female, and you also, I guess, work with children of those people who come into this program. Tell me more about what you do.
Yes, we actually have a total of about 280 or more women and children that are currently staying at the Nashville Rescue Mission. I serve the families that are here, so the moms that come in homeless with their children. And we have, like, as an example, on Friday, we had about 30 families with 64 children that stayed at the Nashville Rescue Mission overnight. We take families in 24/7, take women in 24/7. And so part of what I do is case managing those families, helping the children and mothers get stable, get into school if they're needing school, get into school transportation, and then ultimately trying to help them find their next best place.
So your goal here is, and I think it's a laudable one, is to keep these families together as much as possible.
Yes, so the mothers that come in are with their children that come in. We keep them; they are together. We it's primarily single mothers that are here that come in our doors. So yes, and occasionally mother, father, and children. So the father would stay down with the men.
And over the years, that part of what Nashville Rescue Mission is doing has really expanded in a huge way.
Yes. I don't know the dates, but there was a time where we didn't have children, families, and women staying at the rescue mission. I think in the 80s is when we built our first women's campus. And yes, we've seen our families grow throughout the years. We're happy to serve whoever comes in our doors. So.
What is it that mostly brings people to the Nashville Rescue Mission in your world?
We have women that are coming in that maybe this is their last stop. So maybe they've stayed with family for some time because of financial hardship. That is the primary reason, is financial hardship. Maybe they lost their job. Then because they couldn't pay their rent, they lost their apartment.
Wow.
And now they have an eviction on their record. And with an eviction, that makes housing, finding the next apartment, finding the next rental,
really hard,
extremely difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I often have heard it said that most of us are only one paycheck away from being in real trouble.
Yes, that's absolutely
and
true.
that happens, and you see that every single day.
Yes, yeah.
All right. So if people are out there listening right now, Holly, and they're thinking, well, is this something that I want to give to? What would you say to them if they're hesitating or on the bubble about it?
Well, we're the only 24-hour emergency shelter in our community.
Wow.
So we take families at any time. We're proud to say that. We are happy to continue to be a 24-hour shelter where families in our Middle Tennessee area can come in at any time. That's enough, I think. And then on top of that, we help them stabilize, help them get the necessary needs for their children, have a safe place to sleep, 3 meals a day, and we just love to be here, love to do what we do.
Well, and you do it well. The number is 615-312-1500, 615-312-1500. Dig deep, ladies and gentlemen, and do what you can to support this wonderful charity. Can you give me a case with, maybe don't use the names, but just an example of the kinds of things that have touched you deeply, where you've seen somebody come in and they're having a rough go of it, and then through the work of the rescue mission, they have turned their lives around and now are contributing members of society in every way?
Well, we have, the pandemic was really challenging for our families. So we found that the eviction debt that they received at the end of that was very hard to overcome. So we have been able to help families get connected. So the eviction debt is very challenging, and so a lot of what I do is get people connected with partner agencies so that they can help with those financial barriers. And so I've just seen people get help and get back on their feet through those partner agencies. And ultimately, I want to see their kids in school, see their kids successful in their community.
Well, and that is a goal. And these kids, sadly, though mom and dad may have gotten into some kind of bind, these kids, they didn't. It's not their fault. And so what you try to do is bring some stability to their lives at a time when things have been probably a little chaotic for them.
Yeah, they're often coming from very chaotic situations, trauma situations, sometimes domestic violence, sometimes poverty, sometimes being doubled up with other families. Yeah. So, we're happy to be here to help stabilize the family, to take care of the children's needs first. Those are most vulnerable population.
Well, listen, God bless you for the work that you do, and God bless this organization that is always there. No questions asked. You come in, they're going to do what they can to help you. Whatever it is, no matter what you find yourself, what situation you find yourself in, this organization, and they're here because we take the time each year, among other people who donate to this organization. This radiothon is a major source of funding for the Nashville Rescue Mission, and we have always been able to provide a great deal of funding for them. So it really counts on your heart. And we're just days away from Thanksgiving, And it's a time when you count your blessings. And so if you're out there right now and you're hearing this radiothon, I want you to just stop for a moment and think about how fortunate your life may be. The things that you may have in your life that you are thankful for. You have your health. You have a roof over your head. You have clothes on your back. You have a good quality of life. Well, there's so many people out there right now who, through sometimes not even their own fault, find themselves in a real bind. And families in crisis, you just heard Holly saying the things they do to help the children of those families and the mothers and the fathers and get them straightened out and back on the right track. Give them a helping hand, whatever that helping hand needs to be. The Nashville Rescue Mission will find a way to help those people. And, I mean, the stories are myriad, and you'll hear some of them throughout this broadcast of people who have come in down on their luck, had a bad break, made some bad decisions perhaps, but they want to try to climb out of the hole that they're in, and it's the Nashville Rescue Mission that is here for them each and every time. We have some new numbers. I'm getting to them a little bit late because they just landed on my desk. Our 3 p.m. update is that we have raised thus far $162,351, which means that we are providing 56,965 meals for the people who come to the Nashville Rescue Mission. Now, that's great. We are on pace to do very well this year, but we would love to exceed our all-time record, and to do that, we need to raise another 72,000 and change, and that would put us above the 2021 numbers, which was right in, sort of the tail end of the pandemic and in the pandemic, and people were so gracious to give us during that very difficult time. But we want to do better than that. So, look, you listen to The Drive every day, and, maybe, you are my friend and radio buddy. Maybe you are my friend and radio listener, and I'm asking you to dig deep, to pull out that credit card, to call this number one more time. It's the John Bouchard donation hotline, 615-312-1500. That's 615-312-1500. I want those phones to ring. I want you to get busy. We want to have a big, successful thing here because it is such a worthy charity that I think, you're going to feel good as you dig deep to do it. And I want you to know that the money that comes to this organization will be used to actually transform people's lives as they find themselves in such a bind. They find themselves having real trouble in their lives. Maybe, as I said, they made a bad decision. Maybe there's some addiction issues. That's one of the things that they are so good at here at the National Rescue Mission, using the faith-based approach to make sure that they get people, the kind of help that they need. And I'm telling you, I've been involved in a lot of charities over the years. This one impresses me beyond belief because of people like Holly and the other folks who are here. And they want you to know that they appreciate your effort, but we really need to make the phones ring. 615-312-1500. This is an annual event. We don't ever break away from news and information very often. I mean, this is really it. This is the one day a year that we do every single thing we can to help this organization because we really feel that it is a very worthy. We've seen firsthand the things that have happened. We have talked to the people, and you'll hear from some of them as we go forward. You'll hear from some of the people who have been through this whole process, and they will tell you that they came in. And they, I don't want to say that anybody who comes here is hopeless, but they at sometimes it feels like that to them, that they're actually at the end of their rope. They don't know how they can possibly climb out of the mess that they're in. But because of the stabilizing force of the Nashville's Rescue Mission, they come in and they get the help that they need. They get a warm meal. They get a hot cot. They got a place to lay down and catch some well-needed rest in a safe place. And then they then begin to, with a clear head, start to rebuild their lives. If you've ever known anybody who's gone through the program over here, you will likely hear somebody who sings the praises of the Nashville Rescue Mission. Such an asset for this community. So I want you to, once again, I want you to dig deep. 615-312-1500. Thanks to our sponsors here who are doing such a great job and providing the support that we need to make this happen. And I need your support, 615-312-1500. It's 20 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock. Let me tell you about the folks over at USS. You know, when it comes to home repairs, a lot of time homeowners pretend they don't want to see the warning signs of a big project. You know, it's basically because they're afraid of what they might find. It could be something that needs to be fixed. It could be a small problem that now becomes a bigger problem because you didn't deal with it, or you may get some good news. It may not be much at all. One way or the other, it's not something that you know a lot about, but the folks at USS, they do. They're real experts. And by the way, they're good, honest people. Over 25,000 satisfied residential customers. And here's how they made that happen. They come out to your house. They assess the situation. They tell you what the solution is. And if you want to go forward, it doesn't cost a penny until you are all the way through the process and you are well satisfied. The folks at USS, they guarantee their best. Here is the number. It is 615-488-7855. Learn more about the USS and all the things they can do to help you in your time of need at USSTN.com. We're back at the Nashville Rescue Mission. If you're just tuning in, this is a different day. Maybe you're getting into the car and you're heading home and you're, just want to get a little news and information. We'll have news at the bottom of the hour, but rather than talk about what's going on in the world today, this is the one day a year that we pause all of that to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support the Nashville Rescue Mission. And so if you have ever heard one of our radiothons, you know the drill. We have a number. There are operators standing by. They'll take down your information. And listen, I want you to dig deep and make a big donation, as big as you can. But if you can't make a big donation, that's okay. They're happy to take anything that you can provide. They really will. Small donations add up, and in fact, a great deal of the money that comes in are smaller donations. So don't well, I don't have much that I can give. If you can give $5, $10, $15, $25, $30, that adds up over time. And don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call us at 615-312-1500. One of the sponsors of this year's Radiothon is the good folks over at Stoltz Co. You've heard me talk about Stoltz Co. and how they make tremendous pole barns. Well, I've just had the pleasure for the very first time, actually, of meeting Will Stoltz from Stoltz Co. Will, thank you much for coming by. It's good to have you here today.
Yes, Brian.
So
Thanks, an honor to be here.
So tell me a little bit about why you have decided to be a part of this Radiothon and why you think it's important for people to contribute to this event.
Well, I've always really loved the idea of what the Nashville Rescue Mission is doing here and helping people. And a couple of years ago, we actually did. I do music as well, play guitar, sing. We used to tour a lot and all that. And so a few years ago, I did. We sang here. And ever since that, I've always really had I feel like kind of a connection here with wanted to come back, do some more singing and all that. And just the program they have here is incredible. I feel like they can really, if somebody wants to get help, they've got the program. I feel like people can really, if they follow the program, I feel like they could really make a change. And it's a great program. So, yeah.
The thing I'm always impressed about it is it's a faith-based approach where, and that's why these donations, these private donations that we generate and other people provide for the Nashville Rescue Mission are so important because the faith-based approach to it is really important. If you took tax dollars, if you took money from the city, I mean, it does this city so much good. But they don't take a penny from the city of Nashville. They don't take a penny from the federal government. They count on donations so that they can pursue this faith-based approach, which is so important. And I would imagine that resonates with you as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So if you're listening, Will, I want you to give people, a sort of your sales pitch as to why, if they're on the bubble, what would you tell them about making a donation here to the Nashville Rescue Mission?
Well, again, I was very impressed. I've seen many different faith-based programs and ministries and all that. I've been involved in ministry throughout the years, and just the way that they have things set up here to be able to help people, I think, is a really awesome program. I've done the tour. I did the whole tour through the whole building here, and was very impressed. And you walk in the room down there over there with the auditorium, it's like you walking into like an incredible place. I wasn't expecting that when I walked in. So yeah. It's but I feel very confident. I would definitely donate to this Nashville Rescue Mission. We have, and we plan to continue that for sure. And I think it's a great place.
And it goes without saying that if you find yourself in need of a pole barn or that kind of construction, you should call the folks over at Stoltz Co. They're good people, and they do real good quality work. Just go to stoltzco.com to take a look at some of the things that they have done for other folks. And I know that this is not about promoting product today, but still, because you do that, I want people to know this is a good company and somebody that you should consider doing business with. And they support us here at Super Talk 99.7, and they support the Nashville Rescue Mission. Okay, listen, time is running down between now and we go to news. So let me give you that number one more time. Listen, just write it down or memorize it or punch it into your phone, 615-312-1500. Let me repeat that for you, 615-312-1500. I want the phones to ring. Let's make sure that we do everything we can to support this worthy charity here in Nashville. As somebody that does so much good, as you count your many blessings in this week of Thanksgiving, and if you find yourself and looking and adding it all up and saying, I'm a very fortunate person, well, why don't you share some of the good fortune that you have and the blessings of liberty that you have accumulated with the people at Nashville Rescue Mission? I can guarantee you that money will be well used, and you will be responsible for transforming lives for people who have fallen into a hole. Sometimes it's their fault. Sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's just bad, a couple of bad breaks, and you find yourself without a place to live and no place to go. Whatever it is, for the least of us, let's dig deep and let's make a donation. 615-312-1500. It's now 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good afternoon. It is 3:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got clouds, wind, and 69 degrees. We'll get a traffic report to you and an official forecast here in just a bit. Rain is, of course, desperately needed across Middle Tennessee as well as southern Kentucky. We had a few little sprinkles here today, but bouts of heavy rain and a few storms and very windy conditions are expected through early tomorrow morning, beginning later on this evening. Middle Tennessee could get up to 1.5 inches of rain total. We've got a vigorous low pressure center that's expected to pass to our northwest. Wind gusts, they should reach about 35 to 40 miles an hour later tonight. We've seen some wind throughout the day, but an official wind advisory expected to go into effect at 6 o'clock our time this evening and last all the way until about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So just be prepared. Kinder Farms, LLC, they're voluntarily recalling 2 of its children products out of an abundance of caution, citing acetaminophen instability. All lots of Kinder Med infants pain and fever, as well as pain and fever oral suspensions have been recalled. The drug instability, which refers to a product no longer having the same potency, content, or characteristics it once possessed at the time of manufacturing. That is what was cited as the reason for the recall. Kinder Farms is urging anybody that bought the products to stop using them and return them to the store for a full refund. Strong Santa Ana winds are blowing in Southern California. Those winds have caused some injuries at Disneyland today. Here's Alex Stone with more.
It's been extremely windy here since Sunday morning, and just after Monday's opening of the park, a light pole came down on Main Street in Disneyland in a strong gust of wind. The Anaheim Fire Department says 3 people were injured, 1 seriously who went to a hospital. The 2 others were treated on scene with minor injuries. Disney is a parent company of ABC News. The area of Main Street, USA, where the pole came down was closed off while emergency crews tended to the injured.
That is the latest news. The official weather forecast is next, as well as the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon continuing. You can call the John Bouchard & Sons donation hotline. That number is 615-312-1500. You can also text the word meals to 52236. Again, that is 52236. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
I want to talk to you today about real money. What is real money? Well, gold has been used as a source of maintaining wealth for millennia. It's a tried and true store of value and protects wealth across generations. They say generational wealth has 3 components: land, art, and precious metals. Well, land and art can be sort of hard to evaluate, but precious metals like gold, platinum, and silver are a practical and easy way to preserve your health for years to come. inflation can decrease the value of your money. So why don't you start building real generational wealth today with my friends at Nashville Gold and Coin? They're always available to discuss your options and educate you on the precious metals market and help you preserve your wealth. Now, I want to tell you one story. When you go down there to learn about precious metals, take along any old coins you have. You know, I had a box that was in my sock drawer, and it turned out to be worth about $1,652. I had no idea that these old coins, which had just been collecting dust, could be turned into real cash. So go by and see the folks at Nashville's real money source, Nashville Gold and Coin. You can learn more by going to NashvilleGoldandCoin.com. It is 3:37 here on Super Talk 99.7. No, we're not doing the regular thing we do. We're doing something very special that we only do once a year. We break out of news and information to talk about something that is so important to our community, the Nashville Rescue Mission. And so if you know the drill, let me just go ahead and give you the number, 615-312-1500. We're looking to shatter all-time records, which were set in 2021. So we had a good run so far. And part of that is due to my friend Matt Murphy, who joins me now. Matt, this is a new thing for you. I think you were here last year and last couple of years, but this is such a heartwarming thing to see the generosity of our listeners. I mean, our listeners are just the best. Well, hang on. Well, we don't have you don't have a microphone. It'd be helpful if we had a microphone. Let's see. We'll work on that for a moment. I'm sorry, Kirby. I didn't give you a heads up on that. All right.
You know what happened there, Brian? I know what happened. So Kirby knows what occurred Saturday at Neyland Stadium. And so what he did was he was being a smart guy, and he changed my microphone out to the orange microphone on purpose and forgot to turn it up. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But, it is, and I know what the expectations were, and there was a fear, frankly, that because of economic circumstances, because of the general economy and the economy in the South, that we would not see the amount of donations. And consistently, I tell everyone, do not underestimate the generosity of the people of the state of Tennessee and the South more broadly. And they're coming out in droves. And the listening audience of Super Talk 99.7 WTN is unparalleled. In my 2 years' experience, and I know you've had a few more years than I, unparalleled in their generosity.
Yeah, you're right about that. They are so giving and so supportive of the things that we do. When we have an event, they show up. When we ask them to do something, they are always there to sort of back us up. And we have a very special relationship with the audience. So, the thing I say is, if you've ever found any kind of merit in what it is we do or what I do on my program, and I never we never really come to you, and we ask you to support our sponsors. Of course, that's part of what we do. But we never really ask you to make a donation, except this time of year.
Right.
And people have always been great. I would just like to say, I'm from the little town of Watertown, where there are immensely good and gracious people. And I have a lot of listeners out there. I run into them every time I go to the hardware store, if I go down to the coffee shop. Anytime in Watertown, I run into people who listen to this program. I'd like you, especially, my new adopted hometown, to dig deep. It's 615-312-1500. You were going to say.
No, it's just, it occurs to me that, during our regular days, Monday through Friday, and what we normally do, we have a lot of occasion to talk about the way things ought not to be, and how the government has infused itself in our daily lives in ways that they have no business. And I am reminded that this is the way that it ought to be. Communities coming together, supporting charitable organizations, supporting groups like the Nashville Rescue Mission. This is what it's all about. Neighbors helping neighbors in ways that they can, and that's what we're really doing. If you are frustrated with, those things that we talk about on a regular basis, like the homeless problem in Nashville, this is the way to literally do something about it and not have to wait on the city of Nashville or wait on the federal government to swoop in and do something. This is the way that we can help solve the problems by getting our folks the help that they need.
I'm so fortunate to have not only you here, Matt, but also Chris Hand has stuck around, and he's over in the call center where the calls are coming. So, Chris, tell me a little bit about what's going on over there, and we want to make those phone rings. While Chris is there, in the background, you may hear somebody ring a little bell, and that means that somebody has made a donation. So while Chris is talking, this is the time. 615-312-1500. While Chris is back there, make those bells ring, okay?
Make the bells ring. We got a group full of guys back here who are working so incredibly hard. I couldn't be more proud of the guys that are back here doing the thing, answering these phones. And we have a big ask. We're asking that you provide 50 meals for people that are in the rescue mission. 50 meals is $142.50. If you can donate $142.50 right now, you will be providing 50 meals for the Nashville Rescue Mission. So that's what we're asking for. $142.50.
Another bell.
If you can donate $142.50, that's 50 meals, and that's what we're asking for right now.
That's pretty cool.
And that's within the reasonable. A lot of people can do that. I mean, But listen, I want to say this, and I mean it maybe you can do better than that. Maybe the bounties of liberty have made you very fortunate, and you want to share some of that bounty that you have with people who are less fortunate. I can't think of a better way. 615-312-1500. 312-1500. Call that number. Make those phones ring. Make the little bells ring. It's like the old thing. An angel gets its wings every time you hear a bell ring.
Oh my gosh, the bell ring has been the best sound I've heard all day. Every time I hear this bell ring, I smile a little bit, knowing that what we're doing is paying off.
It's paying off. It's absolutely paying off. And maybe you could talk to somebody over there while we're waiting on the phones to ring, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your microphone is cutting out, so you want to be.
We have amazing modern technology that gives Chris the ability to go all that way without wires.
We got a gentleman here. What is your name, sir?
Henry Wilson.
And Henry, you're working at the phone bank, and you've been to the Nashville Rescue Mission.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is so special about the Nashville Rescue Mission to you, sir?
Well, it's actually helping me get back on my feet and get a head start in life. And they're not just helping me to get back to where I was. They're helping me to prepare for where I want to be, to where I'm going in life.
I love it. And the trajectory change that they're doing for you, do you think you could get that anywhere else but the Nashville Rescue Mission?
I'm not sure if I can, but I know I'm definitely getting it here.
I love it, man. Everything is possible through God. You can see God at work throughout all of these walls. It's really inspirational.
It's pretty cool. And, you hear that bell ring, and you're reminded. Right. I'm reminded at the end of that movie, it is one of my all-time top 10 favorite scenes in film. And I'm going somewhere here, Brian.
Okay.
But when, she says, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. And he says, that's right. During that scene, when Harry Bailey comes home and he offers a toast to his big brother George, and he says, the richest man in town. And he's not talking about money.
Exactly.
He's talking about the world of friends that combine together to help him out in his time of need. And that's what we need in a friendship community. We need you to be friends and community members and neighbors of those who are finding themselves in need right now.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
And we give you the number one more time. Make that phone ring. Make that phone ring right now. Do it. This is the time. Well, while he's back there, you'll actually hear the phone ring on the radio, and then the little bells will ring if when you make your donation. 615-312-1500. Just consider the blessings of your life. And if you've been fortunate in your life, and you can look yourself in the mirror and say, things are going good for me right now. Yeah, that's right. That's what we want. This is the time to dig deep and help those who are going through a rough spot. Maybe you have been in that situation. Maybe you've been through a rough spot, and you know how difficult it is to climb out. And sometimes it seems like there is no hope, but there's always hope for people who come to the Nashville Rescue Mission. 615-312-1500.
Out of the whole team here down on the phone bank, we got about 3 guys that aren't on the phone right now.
Let's get on it.
We can get 3 people to get these guys busy.
Come on. Listen. You listen to Chris. You listen to Matt. You listen to me. We're just asking this one thing of you, and I don't think it's much to ask. If you can give $5, call and give $5. If you can give more than that, we'll take any amount. But there's some of you out there who are really fortunate. And have had good luck in life. Why not share a little of what you have to help get a lot of people who are in bad need of turning their lives around a chance, give them hope that they can climb out of this hole that they found themselves in. Sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes you just you lose your job and it's hard to find another one. It's not your fault.
Well, I've been through times in my life, Brian, where, if you're living paycheck to paycheck,
yep.
If you went in one Friday and someone said, "You're out of here, bub," where does the rent come from next month? Where does the grocery money come from next week?
I've been so blessed in my life to have had some success, but there were times, boy,
That's
I
right.
mean, I remember when I was eating bologna sandwiches, and then there were times I was so poor I couldn't afford to buy bologna. And, ramen noodles were pretty good during those days.
I remember eating stale taco shells with salsa for about a week straight. So we've all been there.
Yeah.
But all of us are blessed. And I do want to say, if you're incredibly blessed, they serve 1,600 meals here a year.
That's great.
1,600 meals would be $4,560.
Right.
If you could provide $4,560, you provide meals here at the mission for an entire year.
Wow. That's great.
Wait, hold on, Chris. For a day, right?
Yes.
1,600 a day.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, but if just think about this. I know that we have people who have been blessed in life,
right,
as we have been blessed in life. 500 meals. And I know that seems like a lot of money, but 500 meals, that's about $1,400. Or I think my math is right in there. But whatever you can give, whatever donation level you can give at, it is equally important considering where you are and what you can give. Please give if you can. We appreciate you.
You're listening to the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon, provided by all of these wonderful sponsors who are supporting what we do. And we want you to call on the John Bouchard, what do they call it? The John Bouchard and Son Donation Hotline. I'll get that down. At 615-312-1500. Come on, folks.
Yeah, I love those bells ringing in the background.
Isn't that awesome?
Great.
Yeah, bring those bells. Bring in that money. Do what you can to help those who are less fortunate than yourselves during this week of Thanksgiving. Count your blessings and do what you can to provide blessings for other people who are down on their luck. They found themselves in a bad situation. 615-312-1500. We are doing great, and you are helping us out so much. We want to ask you to dig deep. Right now, though, it's not quite time. We can talk some more.
Well, I was going to, if I may, Brian, I just want to share a personal story. I had an opportunity. Cheryl with the Nashville Rescue Mission gave me the tour last year. Mm-hmm. They call it the I Had No Idea tour. And we went through the food area, and it was women and children that were being served during that time. And many regular listeners to my show know that my mother went through a malignant brain tumor when I was 5 years old. And luckily, my older brother, my older sister, and myself had my grandfather and my grandmother to rely on for assistance. And they raised us in the absence of my dad and under my mother's medical situation. And I'm watching a young woman around, she looked to be about 30 years old with two young children sitting there eating. And I recognized that but for the grace of God that I had my grandparents, we could have been in that situation. I mean, so it is not, I know that, and I don't fault people for saying, hey, I've done the work to secure myself financially, and I know that I'm okay next month or the next month, and great, and that's wonderful for you. But understand that through the grace of God, we find ourselves in those situations. Right. And there are a lot of people that if they find themselves just on the wrong side of a situation like that, they rely on the wonderful charity of their neighbors and their friends, and that's what this is all about.
All right. The number once again, 615-312-1500. Brian Wilson, Matt Murphy, Chris Hand is over in the call center. We are bringing you all of the information from here. And we have new totals. Let's hear a little excitement. Right now it's $166,486. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have, we got about 3 more hours to go. 3 more hours in which we're going to be talking to you. And we would really, really love to beat our 2021 total. And for that, we got to come up with another $68,000.
We can do it.
I know we can do it. And maybe you've been sitting back and wondering, well, should I or should I not? I'm going to ask you to trust us that we're guiding you toward a charity that is absolutely worthy of your consideration. And the number that you call is 615-312-1500. Right now, 51 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Then we talking about Genesis Diamonds. One of the things I love most about Genesis Diamonds is the laid-back feel, the vibe, the relaxed feeling you get when you walk in. There are no commissioned salespeople at Genesis, never 1 ounce of pressure or intimidation, but you get a lot of information. If you are a diamond expert, if you don't know anything about diamonds, they will make you feel at home and at ease. And you can see a wide array of GIA-certified diamonds, all in your price range, every shape. Or if you're looking at lab-grown diamonds, Genesis has those as well at prices way, way below what others sell them for. All this plus free service for life on need to purchase, designer jewelers that you can't find at other stores, 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, an incredible selection of pristine luxury pre-owned Rolexes. That's really a thing. This is Nashville's premier jeweler, voted time and time again as the best place to buy an engagement ring and the best jewelry store in all of Middle Tennessee. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, colored gemstones, jewelry, all at a price other stores only dream they could offer. For your special occasions coming up, get the most value, the highest quality, and the best overall experience at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. There was a recent study by J.D. Power looking at how happy investors were with their advisors, and it wasn't pretty. What they found was only 11% of the respondents said that they were getting comprehensive financial planning, that the fees were clear, and that they felt that the advisor was acting in their best interest. Not a good picture, 11%. Now, one of the things that we do is we do comprehensive planning. We fit all of those bills, number one. But one of the things I want to talk about is in the financial planning process, what I think it ought to look like and what is available that people aren't getting. And one of the things is called probability analysis. So in essence, this is what we're talking about. We're trying to accumulate money for retirement, put money aside, hoping that we'll have enough so that we can have income throughout retirement. And what we find is that people have Social Security, they have pensions in their financial plan, and they also have investments. Now, with their investments, we want to do something very specific that it really requires quite an academic background to do this. And this is where we look at the cost of capital of the various things that you own in your investment portfolio. It sounds scary, it sounds really detailed, but here's the idea. Is if we look at various asset classes like large stocks and small stocks and large value and bonds and so on and so forth, we know the expected return or the cost that these entities have to pay to use your money. So we can come up with an expected return of the portfolio. We can also come up with what's called standard deviation, or how much that portfolio return may deviate from the expected return. Now that's a whole other video, but what I want to do is show you how we use this. If I look at a financial plan and I say, well, you got this area, this area, this area, what I can do is I can say, well, based on when you want to retire, this is how much income you can take, and here's the likelihood of being able to have this income survive throughout your entire life. And the way it works is this. If I take a portfolio and say, there's the expected return, I can look at history and say, well, the way your portfolio is designed, how might your one-year returns vary from the expected return, the long-term expected return? Well, what we know from academic research is that portfolios well designed and properly managed in ways that I can't get into right now. It's too complicated.
Well, we are here at the Nashville Rescue Mission for our annual radiothon to help this really worthy charity and help them get across the goal line. And one of the things that some people have talked about is the ability to provide 50 meals. Now, that comes to $142,050. $142.50. Little less than $150. And there are many people within the sound of my voice who have the ability and have the wherewithal to do that and do it easily. And it would not hurt, anything that you're doing. You can do it. You've had great blessings in your life. $142.50 provides 50 meals. And I would ask you if you can to help us out, because by helping us out, you're really not helping us out. You're helping out the Nashville Rescue Mission. And this is a charity who can really, they have such a tremendous legacy and history of turning people's lives around who, for one reason or another, find themselves at the bottom. We're talking men. We're talking women. We're talking children. It's a full-service organization that doesn't take one penny, not one penny of tax dollars. And because of that, they can do the faith-based approach. So we want to make sure that we do everything we can to support them. We don't ask much from you as listeners. We come to you, we give you information. You may like it. Sometimes you may get angry with us, but you still listen, and we have a great relationship. And I know I can count on you in the last minutes of this 4:00 hour. While we're in the news, let's make those phone rings. It's 615-312-1500. Chris Hand standing by very quickly. Chris, are the phones ringing over there?
Well, they could be ringing a little bit more. We got a couple open lines here, but these guys are working so hard. We just got a $1,500 donation from a very sweet lady in Murfreesboro. So thank you to her. And everybody's calling in. They're donating that $142.50 for 50 meals.
Yeah.
So $142.50 you will provide 50 meals. People are calling in. They're donating that. We thank everybody reaching out and donating today. So huge.
There we go.
So huge.
I've also got a Wilson County challenge, Brian.
Okay.
With Brian Wilson on your radio, a Wilson County challenge. A resident in Wilson County says that any other Wilson County resident that donates up to $2,000, make sure I got this right, he will match it to whatever amount with $2,000. So there's a Wilson County challenge. If someone wants to call in and said, I'll match him at $2,000, he's going to match you for $2,000, totaling $4,000. So there you go. So that is a Wilson County challenge. And it occurs to me, Brian, $142.50.
I'll do that.
Wilson County resident!
Yeah.
All right.
Run that. I am a Wilson County resident. Run that card for $2,000.
All right, and so there you go. If you are the Wilson County resident that called out fellow Wilson County residents for $2,000, Brian Wilson is your huckleberry. And there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I love my Wilson County folks.
There you
I
go.
run into them all the time in Wilson County, and they are always so gracious to me. Well, listen to that bell ring. Then we want you to do that. So listen, I'm happy to give, and I do every year. I do. So that's the perfect opportunity for me to say, I'll do that, and you're going to match it. My 2,000 just became 4,000.
Nice.
But that doesn't mean you can't give 2,000. Doesn't mean you can't continue to give money.
Pay it forward.
Here it is, 615-312-1500. It is time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good afternoon. It is exactly 4 p.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We still have cloudy conditions, a bit of wind, and 67 degrees now. Traffic and a complete forecast are coming up. Police across the nation are on higher alert with threats of violence spilling over from the Israel-Hamas war. Here's ABC's Andy Field with the latest from Washington.
The U.S. saying its biggest worry is a lone wolf terrorist acting to support either Israel or Hamas with an attack here in the U.S.
We're watching this all very, very closely for spillover effects from the fight between Israel and Hamas, both against the Jewish community and, of course, the Muslim community here in the United States.
Still, National Security spokesman John Kirby says they don't have a specific threat against any location going into the Thanksgiving travel week.
Strong Santa Ana winds. They're blowing in Southern California, and those winds have already caused injuries at Disneyland today. ABC's Alex Stone has more from Southern California.
It's been extremely windy here since Sunday morning, and just after Monday's opening of the park, a light pole came down on Main Street in Disneyland in a strong gust of wind. The Anaheim Fire Department says 3 people were injured, one seriously who went to a hospital. The 2 others were treated on scene with minor injuries. Disney is the parent company of ABC News. The area of Main Street, USA, where the pole came down was closed off while emergency crews tended to the injured.
3 Middle Tennessee food truck operators have filed a lawsuit against the city of Mount Juliet over an ordinance they say discriminates against out-of-town food truck operators like themselves. The ordinance in question requires any food truck not originating from Mount Juliet to pay a $100 per day permit fee in order to do business in the city limits. Food trucks from Mount Juliet, however, they only have to pay a $100 per year fee. That's the $100 per day fee, according to the lawsuit, is prohibitively expensive for any outside food truck to earn a living. And finally, plans are set for the final goodbye to former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Here is ABC's Derek Dennis.
3 days of formal events in Georgia to celebrate the life and legacy of former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Starting next Monday, November 27th, her body will lie in repose at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Plains, where the public is invited to line up and pay their respects. Next Tuesday, a ceremony and tribute service at Emory University, and then next Wednesday, her funeral service at the Family Church in Plains, where the former president taught Sunday school, followed by a private burial at the Carter family residence. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
That is the latest news. Weather is next, and so is the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. You can call the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline, 615-312-1500. You can also text the word meals to make a donation to 52236. Again, that's 52236. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Well, good afternoon. 5 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Brian Wilson at the Nashville Rescue Mission for our annual radiothon, and I am genuinely touched by the largesse of the people who listen to this radio station. That they are doing what they can to support this very worthy mission. And we ask you, if you haven't made a donation yet, we'd like you to participate in what we're doing here today. The wonderful thing about radio is it's free. I mean, we have our ads. We don't charge you anything like you do when you go to a podcast or you go to TV and you watch some kind of show. It's free. Radio across the air, free radio. And I think we provide this community a valuable service by giving news and information and talking about the things that I know you care about. And so, we don't ask anything of you except this one time of year where we ask you to do what you can, to pull out that wallet, to open up that purse, to break open that piggy bank, do whatever you can to make a donation to the Nashville Rescue Mission so you can help people who are at the very bottom. I mean, they're at the bottom of the hole. There's no way out sometimes they feel like when they come here. And this organization, listen to that. Bells are ringing and people are calling. This organization does amazingly good work, and the lives. I mean, gosh, there are no telling how many lives have been turned around. It's a positive force. So many times we focus on the negative things in life, but this is something that you can really be proud of contributing to because it's a positive force within this community, taking people who are down on their luck for whatever reason it may be. They lost their jobs. They made some bad decisions. They found themselves, addicted to drugs in some way. But they come here to the Nashville Rescue Mission. Men, women, families. I mean, this is a full service. Yes, thank you so much. 615-312-1500. I think you have one that just came in, Matt Murphy.
I do, Brian Wilson. Jeremy at O'Reilly Karate has offered a challenge to all of his karate folks to give. He donated $500 and wants anyone within the karate community, if they can, to give $500 or whatever you can. So Jeremy at O'Reilly Karate has made that challenge. And Joseph in Cumberland City generously donated on the heels of the Wilson County Challenge, where there was a $4,000 donation, $2,000 from Mr. Wilson and $2,000 from another resident of Wilson County. Joseph out of Cumberland City, $3,000 donation. So
thank you so much.
There you go. But whatever you can give, please.
I can't tell you how that. I mean, I get emotional. Thank you so much.
We also got a donation from our friend Chris Murr. He donated 100 meals, which is $285.50.
Yeah.
So thank you to him. 100 meals, $285. 50 meals if you want to donate. That's $142.50. We're getting a lot of calls for that as well. And I will say this, guys. These phone bank guys down here, they're working hard. They are volunteering, so that means we don't have to pay them extra for the phones to ring. So we should get more phones ringing and really put these guys to the test.
Let's just go through this because, I mean, everybody has an ability to do something. Maybe you can only do 10 meals. That's $28, $28.50. Maybe you can do 20, $57. Maybe you can do 40 meals. That's $114. Thank you. Thank you so much. 50 meals, $142.50, as we've said. 100 meals is $285. Now, look, $300 won't make or break a lot of people. That would be something that is well within the means of everybody within many people.
I'm going to show you. 100 meals.
There you go.
100 meals.
There you go.
There's Murphy offering a contribution. 100 meals for that.
100 meals. That's $28.50. $285.50. Let's just jump up.
That's midday money, by the way, Wilson.
I know.
That's not that afternoon money. That's midday money. But I'm giving what I can.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, listen, we'll take your money. 500 meals is $1,425. Now there are people out there who can do that, and if you can, we would really appreciate you digging deep and pulling out the credit card. $1,425 will get you 500 meals. And if you really have the ability to do something grand for this organization, 1,000 meals is $2,850, $2,850. So look, do what you can on that sliding scale. And I want you to know we appreciate anything that you can do. 615-312-1500. Let's make those phones ring. I mean, we really are doing well, but we want to shatter all records this year because it's not just about the pride of having done a good job. It's about really supporting this organization in a way that will keep a lot of food and going and the services that they provide. Look, there are many people out there who have tremendous blessings in their lives, and I count myself among them. The blessings that I have, my health. It's been a rough year, but I have my health, and I'm very gracious and glad about that. I have a roof over my head, and things are good. And so, you do what you can. If you have the blessings of liberty in your life, well, just share a little bit of it.
You can hear those phones ringing in the background. Isn't that glorious? I have a 4 o'clock or just after 4:11 update for you if you want it, Brian.
Yeah.
4 o'clock update. Where we are in the tote, $176,667.75.
Yes, thank you.
On our way. That's over almost 62,000 meals, and that means that we are inching ever so close to our overall goal. And I feel confident that 2021 number is going down today.
That's right.
So over $176,000 as of 4 o'clock.
Now, I want to take a moment here and let you hear from somebody who is very dear to me. When I first came to Washington, one of the first people who let me be their spokesman, one of my first clients was the folks over at Beacon Capital Management. John Maxon, Pete Benson, Dan Benson, and all the guys over there, really lovely, lovely, good people. And I had the chance recently to sit down with Pete Benson, who is one of our sponsors this hour, and talk about why they felt it was important to be involved in this. Pete Benson, the folks over at Beacon Capital Management have long been supporters of the Nashville Rescue Mission. I mean, as long as I've been in town, and I'm sure even before then, you guys have been really supportive of this charity. Tell me why.
Well, there's several reasons, Brian, and thank you for having us on, and thank you guys for promoting this the way that you do every year. We love that. I think it actually starts with my mother, who was a very generous person. And in our neighborhood, the example that I was given is every time something was going on, it was Christmas, it didn't have to really be anything special. As soon as she saw someone that was more vulnerable and marginalized and that kind of thing, the poor and the needy in our neighborhood, she was always giving. And we didn't have that much growing up, but she just instilled that into my life. And it's just been something that I just am so thankful for. And then also growing up in a strong Christian family and knowing the roots of Nashville Rescue Mission as well, you think of verses like, speak up for those who can't speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute, speak up and judge fairly, defend the rights of the poor and the needy. And then if anyone has material possessions, he should give it to the poor and the needy. And that, love is shown in deeds and actions, not just in words. So we've just always had a passion to give back here in our community. And this is just one of the many, but a very important one. And so that's really the crux of it.
One thing about the Nashville Rescue Mission is it is a faith-based organization, which means they don't take any federal money. They don't take any local tax money. It's all done through donations so that they can have the faith-based approach to helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really hard decision, I would think, for them to make. I know many others have as well, and we applaud that. And I think that makes us even want to be more involved because of that fact. And so they depend on us, and they depend on all of the generosity of people here in this area.
I know that there is also a personal angle to this for you.
Yeah, I didn't know when we started supporting Nashville Rescue Mission years ago that there would be, but my daughter-in-law's dad actually ended up, his name's Tony, and I know she doesn't mind me saying that. He ended up there, and it was really some of the best months and year or so of his life to be involved there, that he has struggled with, alcoholism and that kind of thing. And his time over the last 10 years that he spent there before he did pass away was some of the best that he ever enjoyed. He was well taken care of, and he was in such a good place. It really was miraculous.
So if you got people out there listening to this interview right now, what would you say to them as they're contemplating whether they want to give a donation to the Nashville Rescue Mission?
Yeah, well, first off, thank God for the blessings you have. And part of being grateful, which we are blessed with so much here in this area, part of being grateful is also action-based. And so it doesn't matter how small or large the gift, they'll receive and take anything that you can give. And so it will mean a lot to you and your family to be able to reach out. And so I strongly urge you to just give something this year.
Pete Benson, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Is that the wrong one? Or is that the wrong one?
We are back. This is the Nashville Rescue Mission. I'm Brian Wilson, bringing you all kinds of information about the Nashville Rescue Mission. I mean, normally we bring you news and information you can use. So, I say you can arrive home being perhaps the best informed person, have good topic conversation around the dinner table at night. But this is the one time of the year that we put all of that on hold. I mean, the stories will still be there tomorrow, and we'll pick right back up where we were. And if you're irritated about that, I just ask you to just set that aside for a moment, because we're asking you to do something that is so important for this community. We have, within a city the size of Nashville and the surrounding area, there are millions and millions of people who listen all across Middle Tennessee. And they consider, even if they live in a place like Mount Juliet or like in my little town of Watertown, when you travel somewhere and they say, where do you live? You don't say, I live in Watertown, because they don't know what that is. But you say, I live in Nashville. Why? Because we work here. Thank you very much. We work here. We play here. We spend our time here. It is the central city, and the Nashville Rescue Mission provides help. I mean, people come from all over this region, from your community as well.
It's the regional hub for all of us in the metro region. And you're right, Brian. I mean, I understand that if you live in Mount Juliet or Watertown, or if you live up in Hendersonville or you live in Goodlettsville, that's where you live. But Nashville Rescue Mission serves all of those areas, obviously, and so many folks are generously donating. We mentioned Joseph in Cumberland City, who gave $3,000.
Thank you.
Inspired by that, John and Christy from Franklin just donated $2,500.
Thank you.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
thank
That's
you so much.
fantastic.
And if you are giving, and I've not said your name, I will say your name. I promise you, because we want to give you all the credit in the world.
All right, Sid, the number. We can't give the number out enough. 615-312-1500. It's the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline. And thank you to the folks over at John Bouchard and Sons for listen to the bell ringing.
I know, the
it's
bell's
going
ringing.
crazy.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It means so much. Whoever that was.
Thank you.
A heartfelt thank you from your friend and radio buddy. I mean, let's make the phone ring. Again, 615-312-1500. Let's get those phones ringing here for a few minutes. Let me just run through some statistics here for you. Again, about these meals. A lot of people can give 50 meals, and that's $142.50. And, man, think about how many think of having a dinner at your house with 50 people. That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
50 meals, $142. 75 meals is $213.75. 100 meals is $285.50. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm different, but when I go to the ATM, that's what I do. I just go for the max. So I always have some money in my pocket.
Right.
Now, look, if you can do that, if you're blessed enough in your life that you can do that, well, then just do it one time for the Nashville Rescue Mission. Just call. The operators are standing by. They will take your credit card information and charge you, and you will be responsible for transforming lives in this community. I mean, people who've run into walls or have found themselves in a difficult situation, sometimes it's bad decisions, and they have a way of helping people work through those bad decisions and get headed back toward a more positive life, to climb out of that hole, to become more productive citizens in the community in which we live. And that, I mean, that is an asset to this community. Can you imagine? You know, we talked about It's a Wonderful Life, thank you. The Wonderful Life thing was all about what would happen if you had not been here.
Right.
Can you imagine what this community would be without the Nashville Rescue Mission?
I can't.
I mean, you have no idea the good, the positive things that are done here every day. Lives are transformed. People's lives are changed. They come out of whatever bad situation they're in. They get a chance to catch their breath, to get clean, to come forward and work through their problems, and then re-enter society in a way that helps, produce a productive citizen. Once again, where once you had a problem and you thought, man, I'm at the bottom of this hole. I don't know how I'm going to get out of it. And then in a few weeks or a few months later, you're back. You've got a job. You've been worked through your addiction problems, if that was what was driving. Whatever it is, they can guide you through that. They can reach out and give you a helping hand. So this is something that would be so helpful if you could just support this wonderful organization.
Well, and I'll put a fine point on it too, Brian. You know, we talk often during our regular shifts, during a regular day, about how Nashville remains different from some of the other bigger cities around the United States of America. And I believe that it is in part the way that we handle things like our homeless population problem. The government can only do so much. The government has a role in all of this, but it's organizations like the Nashville Rescue Mission that are truly making a difference because unlike some of the other major cities and maybe out on the shaky side on the West Coast or up in the Northeast, we believe in a faith-based way to tackle the issue of homelessness and hopelessness.
It makes us special and it makes us different. And
it works.
615-312-1500. You're going to take a break here. It is now 22 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Let me tell you about Grace Point Healthcare. This is an organization that provides medicine affordably with menu-style transparent pricing so you know how much it costs before the care is delivered. Listen, this is an organization that provides something known as a Smart Care Plan. For just $69 a month, you get unlimited office visits and free basic labs for the entire year. That's something. Think about that. Unlimited office visits and basic labs for the entire year. And because they treat the whole family, even newborns, they offer family plans as well. Now, you marry that with your high-deductible insurance plan, and it could end up saving your family hundreds of dollars, and you'll have really good coverage. At Grace Point, we take our time with each patient. They see you the same or next day. There are no long wait times or crowded wait rooms. They treat naturally whenever possible. It is a military vet-owned practice. All of this is why it's been voted the best primary care provider by Toast of Music City year after year after year. Grace Point Healthcare, Cool Springs, it's in Franklin. Here's the number. Call for an appointment, 599-6868. That's 599-6868 to schedule a visit. Yes, thank you so much for your largesse, for your generosity, for the taking the time and pulling out the wallet and making the call. If you haven't yet donated, time is no better time than right now. 615-312-1500. And when you hear that bell ring, that means that somebody has called in with a donation. The phones ring first, and there we go. Every time you hear that applause, that is money going to the Nashville Rescue Mission. So let's go over and talk to Chris Hand. Chris, are you there?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
Tell me a little bit what's going on in the call center. Sounds like things are going pretty well over there.
I mean, these guys are doing a great job, but I feel like we can put them to work a little bit better. We got about 3 open phone lines right now. We got 3 open phone lines, and we want you to call in and donate. And you can provide 50 meals for just $142.50. 50 meals for $142.50. That's what we're asking for right now.
And Chris, I heard you earlier today, and I want to kind of double down on this because it occurs to me you were talking about just taking off from the Starbucks or wherever you might get your coffee, maybe taking off from the coffee run and do something at home. And it occurred to me we have, I don't know how many days it is, I don't know what the exact number is, but between now and the first of the year, there's probably about 50 days, thereabouts. Month of December's 31, so maybe a little bit less. But if you took coffee at home for the rest of the year, you could easily give, I don't need the exact number, Kirby, thank you, but you could easily give, Kirby was trying to feed me the exact number, you could easily give $142.50 just for what it would cost to have coffee at home versus coffee out.
Right.
You can give that amount of money. And these folks have given, Karen has called in earlier, Pamela Furr issued a Furby challenge.
All right.
And Karen has answered said challenge to the tune of $500.
Yeah!
So Karen, way to go.
Thank you.
And I want to speak to this because there was a group of individuals that called from the Springfield Glass Company. I don't know where the Springfield Glass Company is. I'm betting it's in Springfield. Yeah. It was a business donation of $1,425, and they wanted to challenge other small businesses in this community. And I would say this: not only do you get the satisfaction of offering a donation, you get a free plug on the Brian Wilson, the Drive with Brian Wilson on Super Talk 97
That's
WT.
right.
So Springfield Glass Company, way to go! $1,425.
And you won't even have to talk to our sales department. We'll just take care of it.
That's right.
Direct from us to you. Listen. That's great, and thank you so much for making those very wonderful donations. If you can't afford to give a lot, give what you feel like you can, because I love the thing you said about getting coffee at home instead of maybe going out and you know what? Every time that you would then go home, get up in the morning, and get that cup of coffee out of your own kitchen rather than going down to the coffee shop, you would have the satisfaction of knowing that you had done some good in somebody's life. You could just pause for a moment and understand that maybe you feel like you're making a little sacrifice by doing this, but the sacrifice has helped other people's lives immeasurably. I mean, a lot of people show. We usually have police officers or somebody within the police department who comes over here, and they know about the Nashville Rescue Mission.
No doubt.
And they find people. They run into people. Thank you. They run into people all the time who are down on their luck, living in their car, whatever the situation may be. They just have found themselves in a terrible situation. And you know what they do? They turn to the Nashville Rescue Mission because they know firsthand. They've seen it in their life, the good that is done in this community because we have an organization like the Nashville Rescue Mission.
No question.
This is a wonderful opportunity for you to take the blessings that you have in your life and to pay it forward. I mean, sometimes, the thing they do at Starbucks sometimes where somebody will buy the coffee for the person behind them. They call it paying it forward.
That's right.
That's what you're doing. You're paying it forward. You're going to help somebody. Maybe it's somebody that that needs help. They can go to the Nashville Rescue Mission and get that help. It is now time for the news at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7.
Good afternoon. It is 4:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We are looking at cloudy conditions, a bit breezy, and 66 degrees. We'll get a full forecast and an updated traffic report in mere minutes. President Biden celebrates his 81st birthday today, and he will celebrate tomorrow, however, in Nantucket, well aware of polls showing that many voters feel he's too old to run for re-election. ABC's Andy Field has reaction from the White House.
The White House press secretary shrugging off opinion polls, saying members of President Biden's own party think 81 is too old to run for re-election. Corinne Jean-Pierre pointing to his accomplishments.
The president has used his experience to pass more bipartisan legislation in recent time than any other president.
Still, polling indicates that a younger presidential candidate would likely do better against likely Republican nominee Donald Trump.
Now, here is the latest money news from Daria Albinger.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Stocks rose to start the week, hanging near their 3-month high. The Dow climbed 204 points. The Nasdaq closed up 159. The S&P added 33 for the day. It's going to be a shortened week for trading. The markets will be closed on Thursday for Thanksgiving and opened for just a half-day session on Friday. Microsoft snapped up Sam Altman and another architect of ChatGPT maker OpenAI for a new venture after their sudden departures rocked the tech world. It also left OpenAI's new interim CEO, former Twitch leader Emmett Shear, to ease tensions by promising to investigate Altman's firing. Kyle Vogt has resigned as CEO of Cruise, GM's autonomous vehicle unit, following a recall of all 950 of the company's vehicles after one of them dragged a pedestrian to the side of a road in San Francisco last month. Just in time for holiday baking, sugar prices are on the rise worldwide due to bad weather.
That is the latest news. We'll have weather next. And so is the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. It continues. Call the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline, 615-312-1500. You can also text the word meals to 52236. That's 52236. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
I want to talk to you about my good friends over at Beacon Capital Management, who are the sponsors of this hour of our Radiothon. And I mean, the Pete Benson, John Maxon, all the folks over there at Beacon Capital Management believe in what we're doing, and I know that they would appreciate if you make a donation. But in the meantime, let me tell you about what they do. They can help you make sure that you're on the right path to having a good and productive retirement. I mean, have you had any fresh eyes look at your portfolio or your plan for retirement and just sort of, it never hurts to have a second set of eyes on the situation. So what they do is they'll do an assessment. Just call them up at this number, 615-488-9303. They'll ask for some information. They'll go over all of the stuff that you are doing, and they may have a couple of suggestions. Maybe it's a small, maybe you need a major, correction in the way that you're headed. But these folks will put you on the right path, and then you'll know. You can relax. You'll know that you're on a pathway to being where you want to be at retirement. Don't wait until the last minute to make these kinds of decisions. Reach out to the folks at Beacon Capital Management. Again, that number is 615-488-9303. And you can learn more about all the things they do at Beacon Capital Management by going to their website, askbeaconnow.com. Good afternoon, everybody. It's 4:37 on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, normally coming to you from bucolic Watertown, but today we're doing something just a little bit different and something that is so worthy of your attention and your time. So if you normally check in here on the way home to see what's going on in the world around you, we'll still have the news at the bottom and the top of the hour, and we'll keep you up to date on that. But in the meantime, while I'm here all the way till 7 o'clock, we're asking people to do what they can to support this very worthy charity known as Nashville's Rescue Mission. And when you heard that bell just ring, that means that somebody just gave a donation. And here's how it works. It's very simple. Just pick up the phone and call this number, 615-312-1500. That's the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline. We thank them for their support of this, but we want your support. So make those phones ring. Chris Hand, let's check in with Chris Hand real quick. Chris Hand, I don't hear phones ringing and I don't hear bells ringing. What's going on over there?
Well, we got some phones active, but we could use a lot more phones active down here. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are operators standing by waiting for your call, but I do want to say thank you to Corey in Brentwood who called in and donated $1,000. So that's
wow!
Huge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Corey.
That's so generous.
And I just want to remind everybody, it's you don't have to give $1,000. 50 meals is $142.50.
And that's well within the capacity of a lot of people that are within the sound of my voice. We have this amazing platform here at Super Talk 99.7. Reaches all the way down to northern Alabama, all the way up into southern Kentucky, a big swath of Middle Tennessee. And within that pattern, that big broadcasting pattern that we have, this 100,000-watt blowtorch that we call Super Talk 99.7, we have the ability to reach people in communities all around the area. And I want you to know that when you think, well, that's a Nashville thing, I live way out here in X, Y, or Z. No, I mean, a lot of people from the surrounding areas end up here. And so, think about that. Somebody that's in your community may well have gone through the program. Probably has at one time or another. And, you always wonder, you're driving down the road and you see people who have their hand out and you feel, like, well, I'd like to do something, but I don't really know that I'm helping that person. That's the way I always feel. That's why I give to the Nashville Rescue Mission, because I believe it's a charity that really can do some good. I mean, you give people on the street a little money, and sadly, I hate to say it, some of it's going to go to buy alcohol or drugs.
That's right.
And so, that's what, if you give money here, it's when they come into this place and they have an addiction problem or they have some kind of other issue, the folks at the Nashville Rescue Mission, they just put their arms around these folks and support them in a way that turns their lives around, a faith-based approach. I believe in the power of God, and I believe in the power of this faith-based approach. And I can tell you, if you donate to this organization, you're doing great good, and you are transforming lives each and every day. The stories are myriad of people who've come through this program, and they just have found themselves, for one reason or another, just at the end of their rope. They got no place to go, no place to turn, and the life feels a little hopeless for them. But there's hope here at the Nashville Rescue Mission. So just do what you can.
Well spoken.
If you've ever found favor with the things that I do for you on this program, or the thing that Matt Murphy does, or the thing that Chris Ann or Dan Mandis, and we don't ask anything of you except this one time of the year. Dig into your pocket and do what you can. 615-312-1500.
Every day we're on the air, save one. It is our goal to inform, to entertain, to make sure that we make your drive home or your drive to work a little easier, or your time at work a little easier, more pleasant, entertaining, informative. One day of the year, we beg of you to indulge us for a few hours. And I know, because you hear from time to time from folks that say, well, it's a big radiothon. That, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, that is true. We are doing the same thing over and over again all day to try to impress upon you the importance to give if you can. It's a wonderful organization. There's none better in the United States of America. And I have a new 430 total, Brian.
All right.
All right. So as of 4:30, we are up to $188,846.25. That is 66,262 meals. And that puts us with 2.5 hours to go.
Right.
2.5 hours to go we are $46,000 or 16,195 meals away from topping our all-time goal, and that is the goal right now, folks, is to beat the all-time record from 2021, and all we need is about 16,000 more meals. And so we need, for example, we need 1,000 people to give 161 meals, or we need, you can do the math any way you want it, but just every meal counts toward getting us to our ultimate goal of breaking our record of a couple of years ago.
Yes, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
I am so I'm getting emotional. I'm so touched by this that you have dug deep. Look, I mean, I know for a lot of folks right now, the economy's not the best that it's been. We talk about this each and every day.
That's right.
It's not very strong right now, and and so maybe it's not the best year you've ever had financially, and so when people dig deep in this economy, it means that you are committed to what this organization does, and that you have faith that the dollars that you provide will actually transform lives. And I can assure you that they will. I don't hear phones ringing. And I really want the phone. If you in the background, we have a microphone there in the call center, and you'll hear the phones ring. And then immediately after that, if somebody makes a donation, you'll hear them ring the little bell, and that means somebody has made a donation.
50 meals is $142.50. But even if you can't do that, 10 meals, that's $28.50, Brian. Less than $30. I mean, whatever way you want to slice it. Maybe you skip the movie next weekend. I know all of our coffee shop entrepreneurs were saying, hey, tell them to skip a sandwich instead of skipping. Oh, you can skip whatever you want to skip. Just a little nip here and a nip there doesn't mean much from your budget, but it could mean the world for somebody helped by the Nashville Rescue Mission.
Maybe it's time to cut out the woke Netflix and Disney Plus, so we can just move that money over to the Nashville Rescue Mission.
There you go.
There you go. That's right. So, listen, Brian Wilson, Matt Murphy, and Chris Hand over in the call center. And the phone number again, if you want to make a donation. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. 615-312-1500. 615-312-1500. Let's just go through this list again about some of the things they do. You think of, Nashville. I mean, I think people have an idea about what the Nashville Rescue Mission is, and they're correct in what they believe. It is somebody reaches out to men who have found themselves in hard times, but also women and families. They have a complete campus for women and children that is
just set to open.
That's right, and it's a remarkable thing that is happening in this community to help folks, families. You're not just helping, people who, some guy that's been, strung out, and they do that.
Well, and
it's also about the women and the children who have found themselves in maybe an abusive relationship. They have no place to go, no place to turn, and they end up here.
It's exactly what I was going to say, Brian. Is that with the women and the children, with that aspect of this, and especially with the Women and Children Center opening up just down on Rosa Parks, you're giving women, and imagine, if you will, and I'm not overstating the case, there are women that are in relationships that have small children that don't have any place to go, and they feel like they have to continue to be in those abusive, psychological or physically abusive relationships because they have nowhere else to turn. This gives them an option, an opportunity to get out of that abusive relationship and get to a place of safety for them and their children, and give them a chance to get away from that and to a better life. And that for me, that's what the Women and Children Center is all about.
And one of the, you hear these little vignettes that we play. One of the ones that I did the voice on was a family, a woman who came here after her husband had come here. They found themselves in a bad situation, and their relationship was rocky, and they came here, and through the power, I'll say it's the power of God to transform lives. They were able to get themselves clean, to get pointed in a good direction. They have now found great joy in their marriage because they are transformed. That's the thing. You can't underestimate the power of God to transform people's lives.
Amen.
And so they come here, and because it's a faith-based approach, they're not shy about it. That's exactly what they do. And people come in here in the worst situations of their lives, and you can see the hand of God in this place. You really can.
And I'll say this: if that's not for you, if you find yourself in a bad place, they're going to offer it to you. They're not cramming it. They simply want to help you where you're ready to be helped. But they have found, and I am a testimony to it, and I think all of us are a testimony to it, that with God's love, you can accomplish anything. And the Nashville Rescue Mission knows that. They understand that. So if you're just looking for food, if you're just looking for a bed to sleep in, if you're looking to try to get all off of your addictive substance or away from alcohol for a minute, they can do that. But they have found these programs that they offer you are bathed and cloaked in God's love, and they work. And this is the reason that they focus on the faith-based approach, because you talk to over and over again, we've talked to people who have been helped by this program and who have gotten out of that addictive cycle.
So listen, what can you do? Can you provide 50 meals? That's $142.50. You got that on you. I mean, I know many of you do. 75 meals is $213.75. 100 meals. Think how much good you can do in providing 100 meals for the people who come to this shelter, where they provide 1,600 meals a day. You could provide 100 meals for $285.50. 200 meals, $570. 500 meals, and there are people who can do this, is about $1,425. 1,000 meals is $2,850, $2,850. And maybe there's a company or a corporation out there who really would like to do something, a little bigger. And I want to give you that opportunity to do that. Come on. We'll mention your name. We'll talk about you. We'll be forever grateful for you. If you want to provide the entire meals for one day, 1,600 meals, it's $4,560.
Come on.
There are companies out there that, they're looking for something to do during the holidays, looking for some charity they'd like to support. No better charity can you find than here at the Nashville Rescue Mission. The number again, you can't give this out enough. I'm going to keep giving it. 615-312-1500. It is now 50 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.
I wanted to touch on the history of Tethered and kind of how it came about.
There was a handful of us that were already using similar equipment. At the time, however, you couldn't just go to the store and buy saddle equipment. It just didn't exist. And selfishly, we just were making gear that nobody else would make for us and that we wanted ourselves. And our goal was just to make enough to break even. Fortunately for everybody involved, it took off. It's got an appeal. People really liked it.
When you think of a saddle, that's what I think of. That's the first name that I think of when I hear about a saddle.
For me, the reason I got into it was I'm hunting public land, and most of the time I'm going pretty deep. Being lightweight and mobile was huge. I walk in with a pack and my bow. That's it. The more I did it, I was like, man, there's so many features here that are helping me improve as a hunter, where I can take different shot angles and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, I feel safe with this rope all the time.
Yeah.
From the ground up, I'm hooked in. If I fall off this thing, I'm just going to swing a little bit. And I think the learning curve is small. It's just about getting comfortable with your equipment. It's the biggest thing. And for me, it's repetition and then fine-tuning that to meet my needs. And that's the cool thing. What I like and what might meet my needs might be a little different from you. And even though we're doing the same thing, you can tweak it to meet your needs. And I really like that aspect about it.
But we've done a really good job of just innovating and creating products that don't exist. You're seeing the growth of the sport. You're seeing the innovation. And you're seeing all of these cool things that we make, and it's because we actually use it.
Good afternoon. It's 53 minutes now past the hour, 4 o'clock. Maybe, Matt, you could just sort of bring us into something that just happened here in our little broadcast center at the Nashville Rescue Mission.
I'm going to make you wait for it, Brian, because we have a gentleman that's coming to talk to you at 5 o'clock or just after 5 o'clock that's going to tell you all about this little item that I'm holding in my hand that I don't deserve to be holding in my hand because it's way too much money for Matt Murphy to hold. So we're going to talk to you about that coming up in about 5 minutes or so.
Well, maybe we could check in. Listen to that. See, then we're back there in the call center, which is a different room than we are in. We have Chris Hand standing by. And every time you hear that bell ring, it means somebody has made a donation to the Nashville Rescue Mission, and we ask you to do the same. But you listen. You can, when you call in, you'll hear the phone ring. You make a donation, you'll hear the little bell ring.
There goes a bell.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, the bells are ringing, boys.
And here's the number: 615-312-1500. Why don't you take advantage of this situation to do something good for your community? And you can feel good about that when you make a donation to the Nashville Rescue Mission, it will go to feed people, to put a roof over their head when they don't have one, to help them turn their lives around using the faith-based approach that has transformed so many lives in this organization. So maybe you say, well, I give to my church. Well, we appreciate that, but this is something that every dollar that they get here, goes toward the cause of changing people's lives when they are at the absolute bottom. Well, maybe it's because they lost their jobs. It's not their fault. They find themselves without a place to live. They've been evicted. They're living in their cars. Maybe it is that they've made some bad decisions. But that doesn't mean their life doesn't have meaning. And it means that if you come here and through the grace of God, thank you so much.
Yes, thank
you.
you.
Through the grace of God, people have their lives transformed because we know the power of God. If you believe it's a great and glorious God, as I do, then by making a donation here, you are giving people the ability to use the power of God to transform lives.
Obviously, we're talking about donations, monetary donations right now, but they also take, obviously, so many different other types of donations. And something that I heard on the Chris Hand portion of the Radiothon just gnaws at my guts. It'll rip your guts out, Brian, and I want to repeat it. You don't just have men. You have plenty of men at the facility. You have women and children. We've been talking about that, and they've got the new Women and Children Center that's set to open. It's ready to go. They're waiting on permitting, and thank you for that donation. But they think so forward regarding the young people that live here, and it never occurred to me that for a temporary period of time, there are young people that leave the Nashville Rescue Mission to go to school. They leave from school here. And the school buses know to pick the kids up at the mission first before any of the other kids get on the bus, because they know that kids have a tendency of a certain age to be a little bit cruel, a little bit mean-spirited, and might do some picking on the bus. So they pick the kids up here first, and they drop them off last to make sure that the other kids aren't aware of their circumstances. Wow. It tears your heart out. And if we can do just the littlest of things to assist that family in getting in a better way, getting a home that they can be proud of, then we've done our job here today.
All right, 615-312-1500. That's the number to call to change lives, to make a difference in the lives of people in this community. Maybe somebody you know, maybe somebody you don't know, but one way or the other, lives are being transformed in this building each and every day. For men, for women, for families. It is such a positive force within this community. Be a part of supporting it. Just get on the phone and do what you can. 615-312, thank you, 312-1500, 615-312-1500. That is the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline, and we thank them for their sponsorship. We thank all our sponsors who have been so gracious to support what we think is a really worthy cause here in Nashville. We are on a path. We're absolutely on a path to shatter our all-time record.
I want.
Will you help us do that?
I want over $200,000 by the next update. And we're going to get an update here at about 5:05 this afternoon, a little after you talk to your next interview. And I am hopeful that we can get over $200,000 prior to our 5 o'clock update. We last update, our grand tally, our tote board, if you will, was $188,846.25, which represents 66,262 meals. And we're working every moment to accomplish our goals.
That's right. And I'm especially touched right now because somebody made a donation in Grogu's name.
Aw.
my little French bulldog Grogu, who right now I've been calling her the waddle pig because she's so pregnant right now. We are expecting puppies a few days after Thanksgiving.
Are we going to do another dogs versus cats donation drive?
Yeah,
we can.
I think, Chris, that's a great idea. We did that earlier. You know, who is the most generous? The people who have dogs or the people that have cats?
John Henry, my older one, is 13. His birthday's today. Will someone give a dollar or two in the name of John Henry for his birthday? He's 13 years old today.
That's right. Listen, thank you so much for supporting us one more time as we head into news. 615-312-1500. Make the bells ring. Make those donations today for the Nashville Rescue Mission. Time for the news at 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.
Good evening. It is exactly 5 p.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. It's cloudy, it's breezy, 66 degrees in Nashville. We'll have the latest traffic and a weather forecast for you in just a few minutes. Well, of course, it is the start of the busy travel week for Americans. ABC's Alex Stone has the latest in Los Angeles.
Among those who are filling planes and flying today, Jade, who is heading out with her parents from LAX.
I am so excited, and I'm traveling to New Jersey.
She is ready to go, and so far, mostly so good. While there are delays, the number of canceled flights is pretty low, but that could change on Tuesday and Wednesday when a storm is expected to move into the Northeast just in time for the busiest travel days.
Few updates from the White House on talks to release hostages trapped in Gaza following the October attacks in Israel. For days now, officials have said they're very close to a deal. Some of the hostages being held by Hamas are indeed U.S. citizens. According to the Hamas-run health ministry, more than 12,000 people have died in Israel's bombardment of Gaza. During today's briefing with reporters, White House National Security spokesman John Kirby, he was asked why the Red Cross has not been granted direct access to the hostages.
Hamas has control here over where they are and how they are. So it could be an issue of Hamas holding that kind of access up.
3 Middle Tennessee food truck operators, they have filed a lawsuit against the city of Mount Juliet. It's over an ordinance they say discriminates against out-of-town food truck operators like themselves. The ordinance in question requires any food truck not originating from Mount Juliet to pay a $100 per day permit fee in order to do business in the city limits. Food trucks from Mount Juliet, however, they only have to pay a $100 per year fee. The $100 per day fee, according to the lawsuit, is, quote, prohibitively expensive, unquote, for any outside food truck to earn a living. And finally, plans are set for the final goodbye for former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Here is ABC's Derek Dennis.
3 days of formal events in Georgia to celebrate the life and legacy of former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Starting next Monday, November 27th, her body will lie in repose at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Plains, where the public is invited to line up and pay their respects. Next Tuesday, a ceremony and tribute service at Emory University, and then next Wednesday, her funeral service at the Family Church in Plains, where the former president taught Sunday school, followed by a private burial at the Carter family residence. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Jimmy and Rosalind Carter were married for 77 years. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. And so is the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. Call the John Bouchard & Sons donation hotline at 615-312-1500. You can also text the word meals to 52236. Again, that is 52236. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 5:05 now on Super Talk 99.7. Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy, in the chair and on the air, but not from bucolic Watertown, because we're doing something just a little bit different today. We're in the middle of a Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. It's the one day a year where we pause the things that we normally do, and instead of bringing you news and information, we talk about a charity that is worthy of your consideration, absolutely worthy of it. And so we have a number here that you can call. In the background, you may hear the phones ring. In the background, you may hear a bell ring. There, like that. That's a donation. Somebody just made a donation. Now, I want you to make that bell ring. 615-312-1500 is the number. And we'll talk more about all the things that the Nashville Rescue Mission does. But we are blessed to have corporate sponsors as well who come in here because they know how much good is done in this particular organization, and they are here to support what we do on this radiothon. And so joining me right now is Russ Kettle, who is the account manager of something known as the Audiovisual Design Group. And it is powered by the Guitar Center. Correct. I did not even know until just a few moments ago that there was a subsidiary that does the kind of work that you do that is connected to the Guitar Center, where I've spent an inordinate amount of money over the course of my life. So tell me a little bit about what you do, first of all.
Yeah. Well, I spent a lot of money at Guitar Center in my life as well. So.
I know.
But, so we're basically the business-to-business arm of Guitar Center. So we get to go out and do...
A little closer there.
Yeah, we get to go out and do some projects. Any of the new builds. So this project was really special because we got to do everything that we do. We get to do the AV, we get to do the low voltage, we get to do the access control and CCTV. We're really an all-around technology integrator, right? So our whole goal is to bring communication and to bring messages to people. So we are inspired by this project because what better message than for the rescue?
And so when you come in here and you start working on the place, and you no doubt have witnessed a few things just by being here and going around and watching what they do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I mean, it's really inspiring to see the work that these guys do. You know, they're such a staple in the Nashville community, and as part of Guitar Center, we're this big organization, and we really want to be a part of the Nashville community, any community that we're a part of. And watching these guys work and the things that they do, the ability to take somebody who's at the worst moment of their life and give them hope is a really powerful thing. The most powerful thing that I've seen in this entire process is watching somebody who's down on their luck and knows that they have nothing left. right? The world is just giving them nothing.
No gas left in the tank.
No gas left in the tank. And they walk into a place like the Rescue Mission and they get to meet the people here, and you see that glimmer of hope return back to their eye. And then a week or two later, you see the same person and they're light-footed and they're bouncing around and they got a little bit of pep in their step.
And joy.
And joy.
Yeah.
And you realize that it was just as simple as somebody gave them hope for the future and somebody gave them a path forward, and that is powerful.
Yeah, and it's amazing how quickly lives can turn around if they just have somebody there to reach out and pull them out of the situation they're in, and to give them the opportunity to try to climb back out, to just get their lives straight, get their lives in order. And people who have been at the very bottom of the well are transformed through this organization, this faith-based organization that doesn't take a penny of tax dollar.
Nope.
They don't take any local tax dollars. They don't take any federal tax dollars because as much as that'd be helpful. But you know what? Those tax dollars come with strings. Because there are no strings on donations, we can go forward in a faith-based way that has been proven time and time and time again to transform lives. When the people hit bottom and they feel like there is no hope left, the Nashville Rescue Mission helps them find hope. Now, I happen to see there a pretty green check that you have brought along. May I ask you a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when we heard about the Radiothon and we heard that you guys were driving for the mission, we decided that it was something critical we needed to be a part of.
Thank you.
On top of being able to be part of this great project and build this wonderful facility for the mission and for the women and children that are going to use it, we decided it wasn't enough. So as part of Guitar Center and the AVDG family, we would like to bring $1,000 donation.
Thank you
for the
so
Radiothon.
much. Yeah, ring that bell. Thank you so much. That is so gracious of you, and thank you for that contribution. So if anybody's out there right now, and especially people are in the music industry, you deal with a lot of them, I'm sure, over a period of time.
Dude,
the folks that are in the music industry, what would you say to those folks who might be listening about the Rescue Mission and maybe giving $1 or $2?
Yeah. I would say the best thing you can do for anything in your time, in your life as a musician, as a creative person, your whole goal is to inspire and to motivate and to provide feelings for people. This mission and the things that they do here are so critical and so valuable, and they really, really need support and help. So if you're a musician, I know a struggling musician. I've been one my entire life, right?
Yeah.
I know how hard it is to come up with a buck sometimes, but if there was one organization that you needed to put that $1 behind, it's this one. So I urge you to pick up the phone, $1, $2, $5, your tip jar from tonight, your tip jar from tomorrow night. Bring it in. Just donate it. Know that you're not only going to inspire people, but you're going to provide them hope, and you're going to provide them with a place that's going to give them that hope.
All right. Well, listen, it's so good of you to come by. Appreciate it. Russ Kettle, who's the account manager for AVDG. That's the Audiovisual Design Group, which is a subsidiary. I did not even know they existed, but I have a feeling that at some point in my life, you guys are going to be doing some work at my house. Well, we'll see how that all works out. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for sponsoring, and thank you for the very generous donation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us be a part of this.
Oh, absolutely. We're happy to have you. Let's check in with Chris Hand, who's over in the call center, and see how things are going over there. By the way, the number, in case you want to make a donation to this worthy cause, 615-312-1500. Chris?
Hey, what's going on, Brian? We got some guys down here that could use a little bit more work. We get these phones ringing. I think we just got food here, so maybe we can have our volunteers have to eat cold dinner because we get these phones so lit up. They're starting to ring now. I did want to say thank you to my son, Brooks, who just called in and donated $52. So thank you, Brooksy.
Wow.
Appreciate that.
That is so sweet.
He's raking lawns and donating money, so good for him.
Yeah, there you go.
My other son donated earlier today, too. My other kids have donated. They're still on the phone working out their donation. But thank you to everybody that's been donating. These guys, if you call in, you're going to talk to one of the nicest volunteers you could ever meet. Only two things that you need to really know about these guys. They love the Nashville Rescue Mission, and they love Jesus. You're going to find some great guys here working these phones and taking your donations.
All right, and we want those phones to ring. You'll hear them ring, and right there, that was a donation. That bell ringing is a donation. Somebody just dug deep and did what they can. Now, look, we got a couple of ways that you should think about this. Maybe you can give 50, maybe you can give 100, maybe you can give more. But whatever you can give, it will be graciously accepted. I promise you it will. But if you wanted to think of it another way, think about the meals that are provided. They have to provide 1,600 meals each day. Think about providing that much food for that many people on a daily basis. You know, it's not 5 days a week and close on Sunday. It's not. I mean, this is 24/7, 365. They produce 1,600 meals on a daily basis. So if you wanted to provide 50 meals, which would change 50 lives, that's $142.50. If you want to do 100, that'd be great. We'd love that. $285.50. 200 meals, and a lot of people, this is within your means, $570. If you wanted to do something really spectacular, 500 meals is $1,425. 1,000 meals is $2,850. Wow, thank you. There's another donation. Let me just say to you that, you know, it may be, you know, you're a company or a corporation, and you're listening out there and you say, you know, we're always looking for something to do about this time of year to make a donation. You really would have to look hard to find a more worthy cause than the Nashville Rescue Mission. Thank you. $4,560 would provide the meals for one day. 1,600 meals, $4,560, and many corporations, I think, could do that, and it would be graciously accepted. But do what you can. 615-312-1500. I'm joined here by Matt Murphy. Do we have new totals?
We do have a new total. Now, Brian, this total's about, there's a lot of bells in the background, so ever-changing numbers. But I'm going to give you the total that I received at just after 5 o'clock this afternoon with 2 full hours to go in our Super Talk 99.7 WTN Radiothon. 2 full hours to go. Our 5 o'clock total was ringing in at $191,855.73.
Wow, thank you so much.
191. We are on the heels of $200,000, which puts us very close to last year's total, and puts us. I mean, we are probably right around $38,000 away from our overall all-time total. You guys, your generosity, especially this year with all the economic situations that's going on with a lot of families, thank you so much for your generosity.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, listen to that phone ring. Oh, yeah. That's what we want. It's 615-312-1500 is a bell ringing. Man, this place is on fire. This is great. Listen, if you're in the car, and you'd say, well, I can't do it right now. Well, you know, just wait till you get home, pick up the phone, call this number, 615-312-1500. Now, we've talked a lot about the Nashville Rescue Mission and the things they do. And I want to just sort of disabuse you of some notions you might have about the Nashville Rescue Mission. You see those commercials on TV every year, and you may think this is mostly helping homeless men who are down on their luck. And they do that. And they do it splendidly. And they have a history of turning around so many lives in that regard. But it's not just that. Entire families have been helped by the Nashville Rescue Mission. Maybe, it's a family that has gone through some tough times. Maybe it's a single mom now because she's gone through some difficult times and finds herself having to get out of an abusive relationship. Whatever the cause is, when you come here to the Nashville Rescue Mission, their whole goal is to make sure that you are safe, that you are fed, that you have a place to be, and that you have the kinds of resources you need to get your life back in order. I mean, that's really what it's all about, getting your life back in order. So I would say to you, think about this organization as an organization that helps moms and children and other anybody who comes here. All who come here will be served.
You mentioned Grogu got a donation recently, and I begged of John Henry to give him a donation for his birthday. When I first toured Nashville Rescue Mission, you talk about the family atmosphere. They don't want to turn anyone away for any reason.
That's
If you're ready for help, if you need assistance, a meal, a place to sleep, you come to Nashville Rescue Mission and you receive it. They recognized a number of years ago, and I was so impressed, that during the colder months when people come in for warmth, a lot of these men or women, they have dogs. with them that they've struck up companionships with. And they recognize it seems like a little thing, but for me, it just means everything. That you don't have to make that decision between getting warm and keeping yourself safe and your dog. So they have a room, Brian, set up for just the dogs.
Yeah,
where they'll take your dog, they'll take care of them, they'll feed them as well.
Wow.
Find them a little place to sleep while you find yourself. Now they have to separate you to make sure that everybody's safe and sound. They don't want to get into the general population. But my goodness, they think of those little things because they don't want to put any impediment between you and that long path to recovery, and that's what it's all about.
Now, listen, I remember covering hurricanes back in the day, and a lot of people would not go to a shelter because they couldn't bring the dog.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And so, I mean, really, honestly, I mean, think about the relationship you have with your pet, your cat, your dog, your parakeet, whatever it is, and understand how important it would be to know that, okay, well, I would like to go there for help, but they don't accept dogs. No, they accept dogs and cats and other animals, and they will take care of them so that you can be taken care of. What a wonderful thing.
It's a great testimony to what they do. And those meals that we've been talking about so often today, throughout the course of the day, that is, to me, that is an opportunity. And at Nashville Rescue Mission, they look at that meal as an opportunity to open a door to create a pathway to long-term recovery. And they have so many of those long-term recovery programs that we've been talking about from time to time over the course of the day and the afternoon that means so much. I mean, addiction recovery, whether it's drugs, alcohol, or whatever, abuse recovery, all of those programs are available at Nashville Rescue Mission for long-term success and job programs so they can place you in a job skill path that's good for you so you can get a career path going as well.
I want to ask you once again to dig deep if you can. 615-312-1500. Call that number, make the phone ring, make a donation. When you hear that bell ring in the background, that's you. That's the money that you just gave. But honestly, you're giving more than just the good feeling you have at the moment. You can. Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate it. But we there's more to it. You are changing lives. You are transforming lives. You know, if you ever felt like, I wish there was something I could do to help these folks, this is the way you do it. This is the way that they actually can get better. Doing donations on the streets, some guy put his hand out. Well, I mean, maybe you feel good for a moment, but you really don't know where that money's going. And I hate to say it, but I mean, as a reporter, I've actually done these stories back in the day where, you see somebody give a donation and that person feels like I did something good in that person's life today. No, what you did was you enabled their addiction.
Sadly, yes.
Sadly, in many cases, that's what it is. Not in all cases, but in a lot of them. And so you think, well, how can I give in a way where I know the money won't go to a bad thing, but a positive thing? This is your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your answer. This is the place where lives are transformed and people are changed, and there's no telling. Thank you. There's no telling how many times your lives have been transformed at this place. It's a daily story, and I, because we've done this a number of years, you get to talk to these people and you get to know them, and you can see how grateful they are to have had a place where, there was no judgment, just love. Just they put their arms around these people. They make sure that they are safe, that they have some food to eat and a place to sleep. I mean, boy, I'm telling you, if you're in a down and out situation, you've been sleeping in your car, you've been out on the streets for a while. What a joy it is to know that you can lay down and know that you're going to be safe and fed and warm. If you have an animal, the animal's going to be taken care of, and that then the opportunity is given for that person to change their lives, to go in a new direction, to put whatever has gotten them where they are behind them, and move into being a productive citizen of this community. Someone who adds to the tax base instead of just absolutely. It just causes a drain on the city.
You talk about the various testimonies that we've heard over the years, and you've been doing it for a while, Brian, since 2018. I was here last year. I had a chance to interview a gentleman by the name of Norris who came in through the back doors, if you will, came in through the entry point, thank you, to Nashville Rescue Mission. He was a drug addict. and he spoke openly about his addiction and the way that the Life Recovery Program put him through his paces and got him on a better path. He now has a job. He has rekindled himself with his family and comes once a week to act as a minister to the people in Nashville Rescue Mission, because it says something when he's standing there and say, look, I've been in your seat. I've seen what you see, and I can tell you that this absolutely works. It's a great testimony to the program.
It really is. 615-312-1500. Got to take a break. It's 22. Make a call. 23 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock. When you're back there next, would you grab me a cold Dr. Pepper? I'm Brian Wilson. I'm sorry. Let's talk about one of our clients here, Stoltz Co. They make fantastic pole barns. Stoltz Co. is a building team with a difference. The two brothers who are serious about exceptional quality and fair prices can build you a new pole barn to your specifications with your needs in mind. That's the Stoltz Co. difference. You know, you can use pole barns for all kinds of things. It can function as a classic tool and work barn, a garage, or even a place to live. Flexibility is the key. They combine the classic post-frame barn look with the reliability of modern materials and techniques to give you a finished barn that's going to stand the test of time. They don't scrimp on quality. They don't cut corners. They believe their customers deserve only the best. If you've got a minute, check out their website at stoltzco.com. That's STOLTZCO.com. And listen, tell them that Brian Wilson from WTN told you to call. They'll give you an estimate right over the phone, 615-622-5992. Stoltz Co. is where quality workmanship and great customer service is affordable. Again, 615-622-5992. Or learn more at stoltzco.com. Hey, Dan. It is 527. A lot of numbers today. We're dealing with a lot of numbers. You know how I am about numbers. 527 here on Super Talk 99.7. But here are the only numbers that really matter. The numbers to the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline, 615-312-1500. This is the Nashville Radiothon. This is the one day a year where we put aside the politics and we put aside, the analysis and all the stuff that we do. We're not going to talk to you about any poll numbers or where things are. They're not going to do things to make you mad. We're going to be talking about a powerful organization within this community that does so much good, the Nashville Rescue Mission. And this is the only time of the year we ever stop and ask you to consider giving, opening up your wallets or opening up your purse or pulling out that credit card or to do whatever you need to do to make a donation. And it's so simple. You just call this number, 615-312-1500. In the background, you may hear the phones ring. And you may hear a little bell ring. They ding a little bell every time somebody makes a donation. So that would be you. That would be your opportunity. So call right now, 615-312-1500. Chris Hand is here with me in the broadcast center here at Nashville Rescue Mission, where we've set up our portable equipment for the day. And Chris, I want to hear the story about your kiddies' piggy bank.
Well, I mean, first of all, isn't this so great? Just feeling like the community's coming together for such a great cause. It's really inspirational. But my kids, as parents, we all see the homeless out there, and your kids always ask, well, what do we do? How can we help? And you don't want to give money to somebody on the street, like you guys pointed out a moment ago. You feel like you're enabling these people. So how do you teach your kids, to put their money in the right spot? Well, it's a day like this. My kids dug into their piggy bank, and Kennedy and Brooks donated $52.
That's awesome.
My son Bishop dug into Mom's purse and donated $200 earlier. So he got a pretty good deal. But it's so important as parents to be able to teach your kids, like, we're not saying no because we don't care. We're saying no because we do care.
Well, that's a hard concept for a lot of people to sort of absorb, I think.
But I think that you can teach that in such a way with the Nashville Rescue Mission that we don't give it to a stranger on the street because we don't know what he's going to do with it, but we will give it to the Nashville Rescue Mission because we know that they're going to put every dollar to use the right way.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank your kids, and we greatly appreciate it. Now, look, 615-312-1500. That's the number to call, where we can make a difference today in the lives of people who have hit rock bottom. And so we will pick this back up after the news. Right now, it is 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, good evening. It is 5:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We're looking at cloudy conditions, 65 degrees in Music City. A complete forecast and another traffic report are on the way. Police across the nation are on higher alert with threats of violence spilling over from the Israel-Hamas war. ABC's Andy Field has the latest from Washington.
The U.S. saying its biggest worry is a lone wolf terrorist acting to support either Israel or Hamas with an attack here in the U.S.
We're watching this all very, very closely for spillover effects from the fight between Israel and Hamas, both against the Jewish community and, of course, the Muslim community here in the United States.
Still, National Security spokesman John Kirby says they don't have a specific threat against any location going into the Thanksgiving travel week.
Concerns are growing after recent thefts at the new Tanger Outlet Shopping Center in Antioch. Since the outlet opened last month, police have been called to Tanger around 70 times, which prompted the department to increase patrols there. Thousands of dollars worth of Michael Kors jackets and purses, they were all stolen from a store in Tanger Outlets last week. A video circulating on the internet shows thieves running out of the store with all of the stolen goods. Tanger has put up a $5,000 reward to track down those responsible. One state representative is working to say adios to the grocery tax in Tennessee. The volunteer state, one of 13 with a grocery tax, and Tennesseans are expected to spend nearly 7% more in shopping for Thanksgiving dinner this year. Groceries in the volunteer state come with a 4% tax, which is one of the highest in the country. Representative Afton Bain, She is proposing a law that would eliminate this grocery tax and replace it with taxes on corporations. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next, and so is the continuation of the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. You can call the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline. That number is 615-312-1500. You can also text your donation. Just text the word meals, that's meals with an S, to 52236. That's 52236. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Let me tell you about the folks over at Busy Bee. Good people. You know, cooler weather is sneaking in. Time to get that heating system up and running. Maybe you want to do a little preventative maintenance, get it serviced to make sure you're not going to have any problems. Well, call the number I would call, 615-775-7833. That's the number to busybeehvac.com. You might want to think about becoming a member of the Beehive Club. Listen, I'm telling you, it's a good thing for just a small amount of money each month. Or you will actually be put at sort of the top of the list. No overtime charges, 24/7, 10% off all repairs, and they will do their best. And what you get with that is 3 treatments on your system every year. One aimed at heating, one aimed at cooling, one aimed at your HVAC and your plumbing systems. So, I mean, it's really, really a good way to keep everything running up and good. William and Brandon over there, they're the owners. They'll take good care of you. So, listen, when you need help from Busy Bee, call this number, 615-775-7833. Learn more online at busybeehvac.com. It is a 5:39, and that story about Shannon and the things that he went through. I mean, here's somebody who realized he had a problem, went through one rehab, and it didn't stick. You know, quite frankly, that's not an uncommon thing. People get involved and they didn't stick. But he came to the Nashville Rescue Mission, and there, through the power of God, really, and moving in his life, he was able to get on the right path, and he's completely turned his life around. What a remarkable thing that is, to have somebody who, you know, was really down on their luck, had made some bad choices, was fighting through a very serious addiction, but then was able to say, you know what, I can do this. And people who gave him the support to do that are here at the Nashville Rescue Mission. So I want you to do something. You know, I don't ask much of you because each and every day it's my job to deliver to you, but you need to deliver to me today. I need you to dig deep. I need you to dig into your pocket, into your purse, make the phone that you'll hear ring in the background ring. Make those phone ring, and let's have a big finish here on this. We're real close. Let me tell you where we are right now. $197,079. And that's amazing. I mean, that is a lot of help toward what we're trying to do. But our all-time goal, we need to raise, before we go off here at 7 o'clock, another $37,920 to shatter our all-time record. Our all-time record was set in 21. And I know that I can count on you, the listeners of this radio station. If you've ever found favor with anything that I do, or that Matt Murphy does, or that Chris Hand does, or Dan Mandis in the morning, Johnny B and the crew, this is just a little way you can pay us back by doing something good for the community. And you will make a donation and know that you are transforming lives in a huge way. It's a positive force within the community. I want to hear those phones ringing. 615-312-1500. Get those phones going right now. Now I'm joined here in the broadcast center by Ray Brown, who has actually gone through the program here, and it's you are a part of what they call the LRP system,
Life Recovery Program.
Yeah, Life Recovery Program. So tell me a little bit about your story. I mean, take me back to, if you can, what brought you here to the Nashville Rescue Mission?
What brought me here to the Nashville Rescue Mission was that I was on drugs really bad.
May I ask which drugs?
Cocaine.
Wow.
Cocaine and alcohol. I would go to that for a numbing aid for my pain, for the death, for my brokenness, being brokenhearted, just every day living the pillar to post, just broken, and I would turn to cocaine and alcohol just to numb me. And what brought me here was I needed help. I needed to turn it around. I needed to be saved because I was drowning.
Drowning, and that's an interesting way of putting it. But so it not only do the drugs take a toll on your thinking and your outlook and your body, but it also it drains you of any resources that you have.
Yeah, I lost everything. Like everything that I touched turned to ashes. I lost friends. I lost family. I lost people I thought had my back. So the only person I can count on at the moment of time was God to support me and to guide me. And he guided me to the Nashville Rescue Mission.
Take me to that day when you first arrived here.
When I first arrived here, I was on the other side of the mission. It's just the everyday mission, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't be here. I don't belong here. And I was broken. I was high, and I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to give up. I wanted to say my life wasn't worth it no more. But they offered me, said, you know what? We have a program that can help you if you really want the help, if you really want it. And I told myself and I told God, I want to do it. I need to change my life. So Miss Melinda and Monty Thomas told me, if you're serious, you can come over to the Life Recovery Program, but it's structured and we're for real if you want to do it. And I told them, you know what? I'm tired of fighting by myself. I'm tired of that. Everybody turned their back on me. So I got to have some structure in my life. I need a turnaround.
And so what was the moment that you look at, and that was your lowest point. So what was the moment where things started to come back the other direction?
Come back the other direction when they showed me true support, when they told me that God still is alive and he still works through people. That was the support that I needed, that to get back on my feet, gave me structure, gave me hope, gave me joy, gave me everything that I needed to invest in myself.
Wow.
Everything I needed.
Yeah.
This program is awesome.
So you were at a low point. You come here, you start to turn things around, and tell me about your life today.
My life today is, I can say, I have joy in my heart.
Really?
I have
I'm so
joy.
happy. You are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, man. I can tell you have such a jubilant spirit.
The program really works. The structure, the boundaries, the therapists, the life coaches, the schedule they give us is necessary. Some things in life are necessary, but this program for me was necessary to turn my life completely around.
Listen, Ray's got a great story, and if he's touched your heart, then you can do something about it. 615-312-1500. That's 615-312-1500. Make a call. Do what you can. Give generously if you can. No donation too small, and no donation too large. Whatever you can afford to do, we'll be glad to take it. I understand. Little Birdie told me that you have quite a good singing voice.
Yes, sir, I do.
And did I hear it correctly that you actually wrote a song about your experiences here at Nashville Rescue Mission?
I wrote a little something. Yes, I did.
Well, would you mind? Do you mind? I know we don't have an accompaniment. We don't have a guitar or anything, but would you mind doing a little of that a cappella for us?
I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul. Rejoice, sing joy, my King. And what do you feel? Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. We exalt thee. We exalt thee. We exalt thee. Oh Lord, we exalt thee. We exalt thee. Yeah, yeah. We exalt thee. Oh Lord.
Oh my gosh. That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Your life has been touched.
Yes.
Your life has been changed.
Yes,
so if there are people out there listening who can tell that this has been a transformative experience for you, and they're thinking about, well, should I make a donation or should I not? What would you say to them right now?
I would tell them, Jesus is good. Jesus is awesome. Jesus turned my life around. That's all I can say. God is good. God is the number one who turned my life around. I just thank God, and I just hope y'all can just help us, just by donating, any way you can, big or small. That would just be fantastic to help a lot of guys like myself.
All right, Ray, you've touched my life today, and I think you touched the hearts of many people within the sound of your voice tonight. Across this great area, there are thousands and thousands of people who heard your testimony. And if you felt like you were moved by the story of Ray, who came here at the very bottom, who was addicted to cocaine and alcohol, who actually arrived here still high from drugs, but yet he made a decision at that moment when he was rock bottom that this was the place for him and that he could turn it around with some help, and he got that help, and now a productive member of society and a man who is, I can tell, a man of deep faith. Ray, thank you for telling us your story. Congratulations on your successful journey back to being a productive member of this community, and I'm glad that I have met you.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's, if we could, I want to check in over there with Chris Hand and the folks in the call center. Chris, are you there? Turn Chris up, maybe? I don't know. Maybe Chris is not there. Okay, well, we'll try to do that in a moment. And let's just give you the number one more time. 615-312-1500. That's 615-312-1500. That's the number to call to make a donation. I'd like to hear those phone ring. I'd like to hear those bell ring. I want you to dig deep and do what you can for the Nashville Rescue Mission. It is now 50 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. There was a recent study by J.D. Power looking at how happy investors were with their advisors, and it wasn't pretty. What they found was only 11% of the respondents said that they were getting comprehensive financial planning, that the fees were clear, and that they felt that the advisor was acting in their best interest. Not a good picture, 11%. Now, one of the things that we do is we do comprehensive planning. We fit all of those bills, number one. But one of the things I want to talk about is in the financial planning process, what I think it ought to look like and what is available that people aren't getting. And one of the things is called probability analysis. So in essence, this is what we're talking about. We're trying to accumulate money for retirement. Put money aside, hoping that we'll have enough so that we can have income throughout retirement. And what we find is that people have Social Security, they have pensions in their financial plan, and they also have investments. Now, with their investments, we want to do something very specific that it really requires quite an academic background to do this. And this is where we look at the cost of capital of the various things that you own in your investment portfolio. It sounds scary, it sounds really detailed, but here's the idea. Is if we look at various asset classes like large stocks and small stocks and large value and bonds and so on and so forth, we know the expected return or the cost that these entities have to pay to use your money. So we can come up with an expected return of the portfolio. We can also come up with what's called standard deviation, or how much that portfolio return may deviate from the expected return. Now that's a whole other video, but what I want to do is show you how we use this. If I look at a financial plan and I say, well, you got this area, this area, this area, what I can do is I can say, well, based on when you want to retire, this is how much income you can take, and here's the likelihood of being able to have this income survive throughout your entire life. And the way it works is this. If I take a portfolio and I say, there's the expected return, I can look at history and say, well, the way your portfolio is designed, how might your one-year returns vary from the expected return, the long-term expected return? Well, what we know from academic research is that portfolios well designed and properly managed in ways that I can't get into right now, it's too complicated, portfolios actually close in an expected return, but we don't know what the short-term returns are going to be. So what we do is we project out and say, well, what if the return that happened in 1936 is followed by the return that happened in 1975, which is followed by the return in 1995, or what if it's reversed? What if they happen in different orders? And we can do 1,000 iterations, different variations on when those and how those returns may come in. And what that does is, because we can't predict the future, what return is going to follow the other, we can figure out, is it likely that we are going to be able to take the income that we need throughout retirement from this portfolio? And if not, how can we rearrange the furniture or the portfolio to give us a higher likelihood of success? And we look at life expectancies, we look at a lot of different things, but this is what is available to people that they're not getting from the financial planning community. If you want to know more, go to paulwinkler.com, set up a free 15-minute phone call, paulwinkler.com, and come in and find out more about what we do.
That's right, and the number is 615-312-1500. And we're getting closer and closer to what I think would be a remarkable thing, breaking our all-time record, which was set in 2021. At the height of the pandemic, or as we were coming out of it a little bit, we are only 11,100 meals away from shattering that record.
Wow.
But our new 550 update as of about 5 minutes ago, here it is, $203,363.20. That is a lot of meals, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to keep up the energy. We want to keep it going. Listen to that bell ring in there. It's listen, 615-312-1500. When that bell rings, that means somebody has called in and made a donation, and we want you to do the same. 615-312-1500. I'm joined by Matt Murphy. Chris Hand is over in the call center. We'll come to him in just a moment. Matt, you got some stuff to share.
Well, I just wanted to say a special thank you. You know, we try to point these guys out that really go above and beyond. And Tom out of Franklin called in, and he heard us talking about the possibility of buying meals for a day, right? We've noted that the Nashville Rescue Mission serves about 1,600 meals in a day.
Right.
And he said, I want to pay for the meals for an entire day.
Yeah.
So Tom spent $4,560 to spend on 1,600 meals. So thank you, Tom out of Franklin. Way to go, buddy.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. Well, let's just go through how you can contribute. I mean, if you want to do 50 meals, a lot of people, they say, well, that would change lives. That's 50 people that you're impacting at one meal. It's $142.50. Now, look, I mean, I know times are hard and the economy, Joe Biden's economy is in the toilet, but if you've got the wherewithal to do that, that would make a huge difference, $142.50. If you want to do better than that and you feel like you can, 100 meals is $285.50. 500 is, and that's a lot of meals, $1,425. And 1,000 meals is $2,850. Let's go big. We obviously, I know there are corporations out there who are looking for things to contribute to during the holidays. They do a little something. Man, I'm telling you, you're not going to find a better organization than the folks at the Nashville Rescue Mission. Thank you. Thank you. Someone has just made a donation. Make the phone ring. Make the bell ring. 615-312-1500.
I have an offer, Brian Wilson. Okay. For the first, let's say, let me do the math real quick. Okay. For the first 4 people that call in and give the Biden birthday special $81 to celebrate Crazy Sleepy Joe's birthday today, I will match the $81 for the first 4 people that do that. For the first 4 people that do that, you got to say Biden birthday special because we were just talking during the break, we gave Joe Biden a birthday present today. We've not mentioned him once during the Nashville Rescue Mission, so I think that should be noted. So I was inspired by that.
He's the most popular president ever with 81 million votes. So I feel like there's got to be some Biden listeners that want to call in and donate.
So Biden birthday special, $81. I'll match the first 4.
Well, there you go. That's thank you for your large yes.
You know, I would match the first 10. But Joe Biden's president, and I can't because of the economy. Only the first 4.
That's right. All right. Let's go over to Chris Hand. We're in the call center. Chris got about a minute here to just tell us how things are going.
These guys are working so hard, but we do have some open phone lines. So let's get these phones ringing. Let's get the bells ringing. We can't do it without you, Nashville. And I do want to say thank you to Rosemary. Rosemary donated 100 meals. That's $285.50. Thank you, Rosemary. And our friend Bonnie also donated 100 meals, $285.50.
Thank you so much.
It goes so far, you guys, and we're so grateful to this community for chipping in.
Well, listen, we're gonna kick it home. We've got a long way to go in 1 hour, but we're gonna wrap things up for this hour. We're gonna go do the news with Jay Harper, and we're gonna come back at a little after the news, and we're gonna kick it with all 4 of the host of Super Talk 99.7, Brian Wilson, Matt Murphy, Chris Hand, and Dan Mandis has returned to see this thing all the way through to 7 o'clock. For the big push, if you've been waiting, hang on because we're going to give you the opportunity to give till it hurts. We want you to keep giving. 615-312-1500. Time for the news on Super Talk 99.7.
Good evening. It is 6 p.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Cloudy, 63 degrees. We will have that changing forecast and the latest traffic report here in just a bit. There is a warning being issued by the CDC over fruit from a California farming company. ABC's Alex Stone has more from California.
An outbreak that's now been seen in 7 states, the CDC says is connected to listeria in peaches, nectarines, and plums from HMC Farms in Kingsburg, California. The CDC reports 11 infections and 1 death. The CDC says the products are no longer for sale in stores, but people should check their kitchen or their freezers. HMC Farms has recalled fruit sold between May 1st and November 15th after the FDA found listeria in peaches.
As mentioned a moment ago, President Biden, he turns 81 years old today. He will celebrate tomorrow in Nantucket. Well aware of polls that show that many voters think he's just too old to run for re-election. ABC's Andy Field has reactions from the White House.
The White House press secretary shrugging off opinion polls saying members of President Biden's own party think 81 is too old to run for re-election. Corinne Jean-Pierre pointing to his accomplishments.
The president has used his experience to pass more bipartisan legislation in recent time than any other president.
Still, polling indicates that a younger presidential candidate would likely do better against likely Republican nominee Donald Trump.
Plans are now set, and the final goodbye is to come for former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Here is ABC's Derek Dennis.
3 days of formal events in Georgia to celebrate the life and legacy of former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Starting next Monday, November 27th, her body will lie in repose at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum, where the public is invited to line up and pay their respects. Next Tuesday, a ceremony and tribute service at Emory University, and then next Wednesday, her funeral service at the Family Church in Plains, where the former president taught Sunday school, followed by a private burial at the Carter family residence. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather on the way, and so is the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. Be sure to call the John Bouchard and Sons donation hotline to donate, 615-312-1500. You can also text the word meals to 52236. Once again, that's 52236. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It is 6:04 on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy, and this is a very different broadcast than what we normally do. I'm not in bucolic Watertown. I'm downtown Nashville at the Nashville Rescue Mission as we do our annual radiothon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart how much I appreciate those who have made donations. In the background, you will hear the phones ring, and then when somebody makes a donation, they ring a little bell. And if you want to hear that bell ring and you're an honor, then you need to call this number, 615-312, thank you, 312-1500. That's 615-312-1500. Call that number and give as generously as you possibly. We're doing great. I don't want to underestimate or anything. Talk about this number. This number is phenomenal. $203,363.20, and that was of about 12 minutes ago. We'll get an update here pretty quick, and we'll see where we are. But we would like to break our all-time record, and that would mean we need to get people to donate to pick up another 11,100 meals. And here's how that works. I mean, if you want to give, to give 50 meals, it's $142.50. You want to do 100 meals, it's $285.50. 500 meals, $1,425. 1,000 meals is $2,850. $2,850. And if you wanted to provide the number of meals the mission serves each day, 365 days a year, to provide 1,600 meals would be about $4,560. There are corporations out there, companies that want to do something this time of year. It'd be a great way for you to show your gratitude for what this organization does every day, 365 days a year. I mean, they don't take Sundays off. They're here every day getting the stuff done. So I want to go around the table here, and then we have a special guest we want to bring in. Start first with Dan Mandis, who has returned. It's a long day for Dan. And Dan, just let me say I'm very sorry to hear about the passing of your mom.
Thank you very much.
But you're here because you're a trooper. And talk about, what you would like to see happen as we conclude the last hour of this radiothon.
So we need to raise a lot of money in a short amount of time. So Murphy Show and I think we've plotted a way, hopefully, to bring in a lot of money. We are going to offer, if you buy 500 meals, you can be an official amigo for a day.
Wow. Nashville's Morning News?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. An official amigo?
Yeah, so if somebody calls
I can do it?
Except for you.
Okay, I'm not.
Restrictions may apply, Murphy. But yeah, so if somebody buys 500 meals, they can come in and they can hang out with me, Johnny, Ken, Chris for one of the 835.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And
wow.
so if somebody 500
See how
meals,
the sausage are made?
It's $1,425.
So $1,425. If you want to do something incredibly good. And donate
and have some fun.
That amount of meals.
Be an official amigo.
And be an official amigo for a day.
I used to be an amigo. I really miss being an amigo.
Well,
you can pay some money and buy 500 meals.
Oh,
absolutely.
Wilson already paid up. Did you hear what he did earlier?
No.
There was a Wilson County resident earlier that said, "Hey, I've got $2,000 on the table. If anybody matches my $2,000 from Wilson County, I'll throw in $2,000." And so Brian Wilson immediately said, I live in Wilson County. Here's my credit card. I'll match the $2,000. Brian Wilson.
Look at you.
I'll tell you what.
Listen, now, I believe in this organization.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to come here and ask you to contribute, but it's another thing to put your money where your mouth is. And I believe that this place produces miracles each and every day, and I am happy to make that contribution. Matt Murphy is here. I want to also check in with Chris Hand very quickly over in the call center where it's I love it when those bells start to ring in and people start calling. 615-312-1500. Chris.
Oh, hey, guys. What's going on? Sorry, my mic was cutting out. Brian, we got a $1,000 donation from a man named Brian as well in memory of his dad.
Thank you.
And we've been getting these donations all day long, and I think it's important to point out Steve in Hendersonville donating $1,000 in memory of Uncle Phil Valentine.
Wow, so thank you so much.
We've been getting donations like that all afternoon long, and I know he's smiling up there.
And I want to say one thing real quick because I know he won't. The number of you, it touches my heart. And I mean this so sincerely. The number of you calling in and offering donations in honor of Dan's mom. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So much. It's so good of you to be here, and it's so good of you to do that.
That's right.
I very much appreciate the folks that did that. Thank you very much, and thanks to everybody here for your support. By the way, Chris, look for the Amigo special because I said 500 meals, Chris, 500 meals. And they can be an official amigo. So that
amigo for a day.
Amigo for a day.
We have our eyes open for the Amigo special.
There you go.
It's a high priced item. It's much more expensive than the Biden birthday opportunity that I offered just before the top of the hour. $81. Biden birthday opportunity, I'll match it. So
There you go.
$81 gets you a $162 donation to Nashville's Rescue Mission.
And by the way, it's a small thing, but somebody donated in Grogu's name.
In Grogu's name.
Grogu, my sweet. It's Middle Tennessee's best-known French bulldog. Listen, join us here now is Glenn Cranfield, who is the Nashville Rescue Mission president and CEO. We thank you so much for joining us here in the broadcast center, Glenn. This is an important day so that people understand. This is a faith-based approach, and you don't take any tax dollars, not federal dollars, not local dollars. Everything that you do here is through the largesse and the generosity of the people who contribute to this radiothon and make other donations throughout the year.
Absolutely. We don't do that so that we can do the things that we do in the name of Christ, in the name of God, to really help people get back on their feet again. I tell people all the time, we can help people, we can feed people, we can clothe people, we can house people, but only God can change a heart. Only God can change a life. So that's the reason we don't accept any government funds, because we want to be free to be able to promote that.
Right. And every day you could probably point to some miracle story. I would like you to pull up your memory banks here and think hard about the one case that you still think about on a regular basis, that one remarkable story where somebody came in and their lives were transformed thanks to the programs here at Nashville Rescue Mission.
Yeah, one of the stories that comes to mind, Brian, is I hadn't been here very long. Came from Oklahoma City. I was here probably 2 years. And there was a gentleman that I would see every single day coming through the food line, sitting in the day room, and he had mental health issues, and he wore a cardboard toupee of all things. And he didn't talk to anybody. He didn't share anything. So we started getting our case managers to meet with him, to work with him, to try and get him the help that he needed. And we worked with Mental Health Co-op, got him on medication. And then the fog began to clear.
Wow.
And they began to share about his family and so forth. And he had family in another state, and we called them, and they thought that he had passed away on the street years before. They had given up on him.
They didn't know he was even alive.
Absolutely. And so we got the family to come down from Indiana. They met in the lobby, and there was a great reunion with grandkids he didn't even know he had. And we connected there. It was just, I mean, we were all crying and all just, our hearts were just broken over this great reunion. And then he left here and went back to live in an assisted living center, and he passed away there not too long afterwards. But the great story is he was loved and reconnected with his family, and he passed away there free from alcohol addictions and so forth, and doing so great. So I always remember him whenever somebody asks me a story.
Listen, if you are inspired by that story like I am, you know, just pick up the phone. 615-312-1500. Listen, thank you. That bell ringing means somebody just made a donation.
I would just like to say, Brian, I'm sorry. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for Middle Tennessee and the WTN listeners. I mean, they have really come to the forefront and said, we care about the hurting. We care about the homeless. We care about the struggling. It's one thing to say that, and it's another thing to actually do something about it. And so our listeners all over Middle Tennessee are doing something about it, and it just touches my heart.
Well, it's because we have the greatest listeners on the planet. They are truly amazing people. Every time, you know, we ask them to do something, you know, to show up at an event or to show it, they're there. And I have always been touched by the generosity that is demonstrated each and every time we do one of these radiothons, because people really, they dig deep. I mean, the economy is not the greatest in the world right now.
Right.
You know, and so for you to make a commitment to the Nashville Rescue Mission, you are doing some real good. You might have to go without, you know, an extra coffee down at the coffee shop, or maybe, you know, you give up on something that you normally spend stuff on a daily basis. You know, just think of it like, you know, one trip to the ATM. Do what you can. And it will, those funds, I promise you, I swear to you, will be used in a positive way to transform lives each and every day.
Absolutely.
I can't hear you for some reason.
Here, trade with me for just a second, Glenn.
I mean, to that point, I mean, we want to be totally accountable to all of our listeners and to all of our donors and all of our volunteers. And so we have an independent audit every year. Everything is clean. I'm so excited about that because it means a lot to the people when they're actually giving something to help people and to know that money is going to help them.
Tell me about the new center that's about to open up.
I'm so excited about that. Thank you for asking. So in Rosa Parks, a new center for women and children and families opens up just as soon as Metro gives us the occupancy permit. It's ready to go. It is a state-of-the-art facility. We'll be able to separate the women and children and families over there, and it's just phenomenal. I know many of you have seen that and taken a tour of that. It is remarkable, and we are so excited about that.
And a lot of people think, well, because I've seen those ads that run every year at Christmas, and they think, well, this is for homeless men or people who are down on their luck, the homeless population, etc. And that is absolutely a part of what you do.
Sure.
But I want you to emphasize how important you are, because you not only change the lives of individuals, you change the direction and the pathway for families in this area.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true, Brian. Oftentimes, we see the man, we see the woman, and we have all kinds of thoughts about what brought them there. How did they get to that situation? Let me tell you something. That child didn't do anything for that. No. Not at all. And to know that we are loving them and caring for them and have case managers to work with them. They go to school. They're picked up first and they're let off last, as you've said many times throughout the broadcast today. We care about them, and we're putting our best foot forward to make sure that those children have everything they need to be productive.
And you're right. A lot of times it's really sad that children are sort of the innocent victims in things that are happening. Maybe it's an addiction problem. Maybe it's an abusive situation within that house. And you bring these kids and you get them out of there, and you make sure that they're safe. Maybe they're single moms who are coming with a kid or two, and you make sure that those folks could stay together. And I'm certain that I heard the story earlier today of a family that came in crisis, and it took a while for them to work out their issues, but now they talk about the joy they have in their life and how their marriage has been improved.
Yeah, that is so incredible. You mentioned joy. You see joy. It doesn't happen on day one, but eventually through the classes, through the counseling, and through therapy and exposure to chapel, you see that joy return to their lives and their faces and their hearts. And I tell you, when you walk through these halls of this place, taking a tour, we call it the I Had No Idea tour, because people have pre-imagined in their mind what they expect, but they see so much joy. They see so much hope, and they experience that in the men, the women, and the kids that we serve each and every day.
And can I just say one thing to something that Glenn said a minute ago? And it is about the Women and Children's Center. We on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, collectively, because I listen to all of the shows, Dan Mandis, Matt Murphy, Chris Hand, Brian Wilson, we get accused of being pretty darn hard on Nashville government. Let me explain to you, Nashville government, if you're listening, a way that you can get a lot of kudos from this radio station. Cut through the red tape, let this organization jump the line, go over there and get the permitting done and get that Women's and Children's Center open. It is ridiculous that they have to wait in line behind a lot of these businesses when there are women and children that are suffering as a result of them having to wait. Get it open, and you'll get all the kudos you want from us at Super Talk 99.7.
I don't want to add fuel to the fire, but who do we have to call? Who do we have to harass?
Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Mayor Freddie O'Connell.
Is it really Freddie O'Connell?
Well, let me tell you something. When you're the mayor of Nashville, you can pick up the phone and you can, as I say, get GSD, get stuff done. Use the power you have, Mayor O'Connell, to get that center open so that we can help in the lives of women and children who are in need. And just because, they got some kind of bureaucratic snag here, let's cut through the red tape. Let's make that happen.
Well, and I'll say this to Glenn as he sits here. Freddie O'Connell, hopefully, is listening right now and will get something done tomorrow. But if he doesn't have anything done by next week, he is scheduled to be on the Matt Murphy radio show on Super Talk next week, the week after Thanksgiving. And the first question that he will get asked is, why is the Women's and Children's Center at Nashville Rescue Mission not open right now? I will ask that question first for you, Glenn.
All right. Yeah, listen, real quick, the number... Make the phones ring. Make the little bells go ding-a-ling-a-ling. 615-312. Thank you. 1500. 312-1500. Call now. It's now 20 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk. Let me tell you about the folks over at Legend Steakhouse, Johnny Fleeman's place. If you're headed home right now, after you make your donation, you might want to stop by and have a good steak at the Legend Steakhouse at Johnny Fleeman's place. They will take good care of you, and those steaks are delicious. But they also want you to think about them for lunch as well. Meat and two, that's right. Here's the kind of meats they have: fried pork chop, smoky mountain meatloaf, fried catfish, slow cooked pot roast with gravy. And the sides, I don't know about you, when I go to a place where they have a bunch of sides, that's what I dig. I like the sides: broccoli, casserole, turnip greens. You got bourbon glazed apples, fried green tomatoes, potato casserole, black-eyed peas. This is the kind of food that your mama made. In fact, all of these recipes came from Johnny's mom. He borrowed them in a big recipe book some 30 years ago and never gave it back. Let me tell you, if you want good food at a reasonable price, you're going to do very well to go to Legend Steakhouse for lunch or for dinner. Just go to legendsteakhouse.com for locations. That's legendsteakhouse.com for locations, or to order online. A local Tennessee company, been in business some 34 years. You're going to love your next visit to Legend Steakhouse. It is 24 minutes past the hour. Brian Wilson in the chair from the Nashville Rescue Mission, where we are doing something a little different than we normally do. We're doing our radiothon. So if you're just getting in your car and you don't know what this is all about, we're raising money for the Nashville Rescue Mission, and it's a thing we do every year. We give one day to the Nashville Rescue Mission, and you through the largesse and the generosity and the kindness of the people who listen to this radio station, we help provide a valuable service for people who are down on their luck in Nashville. Men, women, children, it doesn't matter. They come to the Nashville Rescue Mission, and they have the ability and the opportunity to change their lives because it's a faith-based approach. They don't take a penny from the government. They don't take a penny from the local economy. They count on your amazing donations, and we just had an amazing one. A listener in Hendersonville did not want to give the name. That's not what it's about. It's about helping out. And this person has donated enough for 1,600 meals. You say, well, why is that important? Because that's how many meals are served every day, every single day. at Nashville Rescue Mission. 24/7, 365 times, and 3 times a day. They give meals. And that comes to $4,560. And the person who called in from Hendersonville, God bless you for that, just wanted to inspire others to maybe make a similar donation. That's a big chunk of money.
It is a big deal.
And you and I want to say thank you very much for your largesse and your generosity. And ask other people, maybe a company. You got a company out there and you're doing well, and things. It's been a good year for you, and you're looking for something to do to give back to the community. You will not find a more worthy organization. They do good work every day. They change lives each and every day. Brian Wilson, I got Matt Murphy here. I got Dan Mandis here. I got Chris Hand over in the call center, and every time you hear that bell ring, that means somebody's giving a donation. You can make that bell ring by going to 615-312-1500. Call that number. Somebody will take your call and write down your donation. Chris, give us the lay of the land over there. It sounds like things are picking up.
We got about 3/4 of the guys at the phone bank working real hard, and the other quarter of them are waiting for your call. So we got to step this up. These guys are volunteers. We can make them work a little bit harder and skirt labor laws. So let's do that. 50 meals is $142.50. If you can donate $142.50, that's 50 meals.
Now remember, thank you, Chris. I offered your opportunity to be a fifth amigo on the Gang of Three Amigos.
An official fifth amigo of the Nashville's Morning News.
If you bought 500 meals, which is how much?
1,400 and some change.
1,425 or so dollars.
Yeah, 25. That's right.
Drew Hardwick is going to be an official amigo at some point. And if you would like to be an official amigo, you too can spend $500 to buy 500 meals, and it will.
So there's another amigo opportunity.
There can be. Listen,
endless amigo opportunities.
Don't we do like many shows every single year?
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely, we have unlimited
from
opportunities
now until the end of time.
And
fifth
Brian,
amigo.
And Brian, we're getting close to the record.
Yeah, we are. We're at $213,547.
Wow,
that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. That's a huge number. But to shatter our all-time record, we still need to come up in the next 30 minutes or so with $21,452.30.
Oh, we got this.
We can do this. We can do this.
Come on, guys. We got this.
I think we can do it. Listen to those bells ring. Loud. That's awesome. Chris Hand, what's going on over there? Sounds like a little excitement.
Man, we got phones ringing. People are smiling, but we need more calls. Definitely some open phone lines down here, so please pick up the phone and donate today.
I don't know how to feel about the fact that I've not heard that anyone has taken me up on the Biden birthday $81 contribution. I don't know whether to feel really good about the listening audience of Super Talk 99.7 WGN. On one side, I do. On the other side, hey, make me spend $81. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I think those people are texting the keyword meals to 52236.
That's what it is.
I think that's what it is.
615-312-1500. Make the phones ring, and I guarantee you that this will be money well spent. I have seen firsthand, and I've talked to people here who have gone through amazing transformations. There's a story of Ray just a few moments ago.
Right.
Glenn Cranfield is here. He's the president and runs this place. The story of Ray came in here strung out on cocaine and alcohol. And didn't know, he was actually high the day he arrived.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
And I guess that happens from time to time.
Yeah.
And he made a commitment that night that he was going to work the system. He was going to commit himself to the program. And through the grace of God, he has turned himself around. You look at that guy, he has joy in his heart. His eyes are clear, his mind is clear, and he's a testament to the kinds of things that you can do here at the Nashville Rescue Mission. And you see stories like that every day.
Every single day. I tell people all the time, they say, tell me your greatest story. And I said, there are so many great stories of people getting their life changed, getting their life back together, getting their family back together, getting their kids back. It's just phenomenal. And it all starts with a meal. It all starts with a meal. They come, they're hurting, they're hungry, and we feed them, and then we talk to them about the program, and it just begins right there to be able to input into their life the things that they need to get back on their feet again.
And Glenn, it starts with the meal, but it doesn't end with the meal.
Absolutely.
Because that $285 this year, that $285 also buys a bed, It buys a shower, it buys clean socks, clean clothes, and the support staff that you folks need to fix people.
Right, meeting with case managers to find out what brought you here, what's going on in your life, how can we benefit you, how can we help you get back on your feet again. It's phenomenal, but it all starts right with that meal, but it doesn't end there. It's so well said.
All right, look, we're going to take a break to do the news with Jay Harper. But, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, the big push all the way to 7 o'clock. Let's break this record. 615-312-1500. It's time for the news now on Super Talk 99.7.
Good evening. It is 6:31, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We have rain, some of it heavy in some parts of the metro, 63 degrees. The forecast and the latest traffic report are upcoming. A nice gift, at least for those heading out for a long drive for Thanksgiving, as we hear from ABC's Alex Stone.
The price of gas has been moving down for weeks, and heading into Thanksgiving, the Energy Department reports the price of regular unleaded has gone down another 6 cents in the past week to $3.29 a gallon on average. The cheapest gas is along the Gulf Coast at $2.79 a gallon. Americans are paying 36 cents a gallon less this Thanksgiving week compared to last year.
The White House offering no updates as of yet on the Hamas hostage negotiations, but the Biden administration says it's hopeful that there could be a deal very soon. ABC's Andy Field has the latest from Washington.
Vague but encouraging news on talks to free several hundred hostages held by Hamas.
We believe we're closer than we've ever been, so we're hopeful.
White House National Security spokesman John Kirby.
Nothing is done until it's all done.
The Biden White House pushing to release children and women captured during the Hamas attack on Israel last month. At least 10 of those hostages are Americans.
With today's closing money news, let's turn now to Daria Albinger.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Stocks rose to start the week, hanging near their 3-month high. The Dow climbed 204 points. The Nasdaq closed up 159. The S&P added 33 for the day. It's going to be a shortened week for trading. The markets will be closed on Thursday for Thanksgiving and opened for just a half-day session on Friday. Microsoft snapped up Sam Altman and another architect of ChatGPT maker OpenAI for a new venture after their sudden departures rocked the tech world. It also left OpenAI's new interim CEO, former Twitch leader Emmett Shear, to ease tensions by promising to investigate Altman's firing. Kyle Vogt has resigned as CEO of Cruise, GM's autonomous vehicle unit, following a recall of all 950 of the company's vehicles after one of them dragged a pedestrian to the side of a road in San Francisco last month. Just in time for holiday baking, sugar prices are on the rise worldwide due to bad weather.
That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather next, and so is the continuation of the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. Let's break that record. Call the John Bouchard and Sons Donation Hotline, 615-312-1500. You can also text the word meals to 52236. Once again, that's 52236. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Well, we have big news from our friends over at DT McCall's. If you've been thinking about buying a gun safe but putting it off, now is the time. Gun safes are sales tax free. That's right, sales tax free. It's hunting season, so be sure you're keeping your guns safe when you're not in the tree stand with a gun safe from DT McCall's. Now, DT McCall's is the largest Liberty safe dealer in all of Tennessee, bar none. Why? It has to do with their free delivery and setup. You see, some charge $500 for delivery and setup of the big models, $300 for the smaller models. At DT McCall & Sons, delivery of every safe is free, every time period, never a setup charge. Now, you know, security is important these days, and gun safes can be used for valuables, cash, jewelry, important documents, wills, deeds, car titles, whatever you need to keep the gun safe from theft or fire, or whatever you need to keep safe from theft or fire. Save some big bucks now on your gun safe when you shop at your local DT McCall's. Go to dtmccalls.com for locations and information.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. There was a recent study by J.D. Power looking at how happy investors were with their advisors, and it wasn't pretty. What they found was only 11% of the respondents said that they were getting comprehensive financial planning, that the fees were clear, and that they felt that the advisor was acting in their best interest. Not a good picture, 11%. Now, one of the things that we do is we do comprehensive planning. We fit all of those bills, number one. But one of the things I want to talk about is in the financial planning process, what I think it ought to look like and what is available that people aren't getting. And one of the things is called probability analysis. So in essence, this is what we're talking about. We're trying to accumulate money for retirement, put money aside, hoping that we'll have enough so that we can have income throughout retirement. And what we find is that people have Social Security, they have pensions in their financial plan, and they also have investments. Now, with their investments, we want to do something very specific that it really requires quite an academic background to do this. And this is where we look at the cost of capital of the various things that you own in your investment portfolio. It sounds scary, it sounds really detailed, but here's the idea. is if we look at various asset classes like large stocks and small stocks and large value and bonds and so on and so forth, we know the expected return or the cost that these entities have to pay to use your money. So we can come up with an expected return of the portfolio. We can also come up with what's called standard deviation, or how much that portfolio return may deviate from the expected return. Now that's a whole other video, but what I want to do is show you how we use this. If I look at a financial plan and I say, well, you got this area, this area, this area, what I can do is I can say, well, based on when you want to retire, this is how much income you can take, and here's the likelihood of being able to have this income survive throughout your entire life. And the way it works is this. If I take a portfolio and I say, there's the expected return, I can look at history and say, well, the way your portfolio is designed, how might your one-year returns vary from the expected return, the long-term expected return? Well, what we know from academic research is that portfolios well designed and properly managed in ways that I can't get into right now, it's too complicated, portfolios actually close in an expected return, but we don't know what the short-term returns are going to be. So what we do is we project out and say, well, what if the return that happened in 1936 is followed by the return that happened in 1975, which is followed by the return in 1995, or what if it's reversed? What if they happen in different orders? And we can do 1,000 iterations, different variations on when those and how those returns may come in. And what that does is, because we can't predict the future, what return's going to follow the other, we can figure out, is it likely that we are going to be able to take the income that we need throughout retirement from this portfolio? And if not, how can we rearrange the furniture?
Here's the number, 615-312-1500. Brian Wilson in the chair for you here. But listen, all of the hosts of WTN are here now to bring this thing home in the last 30 minutes. I have an update, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, we are so close.
We are getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. So far, we have collected $219,412.32. Don't forget that. Listen, here's what we need. We would like to shatter our all-time record, which was in 2021. And we would like to just destroy that number. And we're not that far off. We need to find $15,587.68. That's about 5,469 meals. Now, let me tell you about how you might be able to help out in that regard. If you can provide 50 meals, that's $142.50. If you can do 100 meals, that's $285.50. Oh, there's a good one coming in. Thank you.
That's a good one. Got to be a good one.
500 meals is $1,425. And honestly, we've had some people who've done this. It's a lovely, generous thing to do. And if you have the ability to do it, you can put us over the top. What we need is 3 people who will provide 1,600 meals, which is what they serve each and every day here at the Nashville Rescue Mission. Now, that's $4,560. That would put us over. Just 3 people. If you want to be that person, we would be forever grateful. We want to shatter the number. We want to do so. Here's the number again: 615-312-1500. Do what you can. If it's a small amount, we're happy to take it. If it's a larger amount, we're happy to take it. I'm going to go around the room and let all the hosts make sort of, as we start to wrap up this last half hour, some of what they have learned about what's coming in, and what you'd like to say as we have to. I mean, this is down to the last few minutes.
Listen,
Dan Mandis.
I am telling folks, if you want to be an official amigo, you buy 500 meals, $1,425. I've got 3 amigos now.
Yeah!
So Drew called earlier, and now I've got Aaron and Brent. So I got 3 people that are going to be amigos. They have called in. They bought 500 meals, $1,425. We got a lot more days. So if you want to come in and join me, Johnny, Chris, and Ken and be our 5th amigo, call in right now at 615-312-1500. And I know Matt's got his own thing
I
going
know.
on.
I've got my my Biden birthday matches. $81 will get you a Biden birthday donation, and I will match your Biden birthday donation. So we got 3 individuals that have already done that. 1 more available for you. So I don't have unlimited Biden birthday matches, and plus we have limited Biden voters that actually. You don't have to be a Biden voter. You can be anybody, but just $81 donation will get you a Biden birthday match, and we're up to $243 that I will now match in that regard. So we are asking for any and all donations. If you got a smaller price point, $81, bigger price point, maybe the $14.25, or 1 day of meals.
Yeah, that's right. We'd love to have you do it. Again, the number 615-312-1500. Over in the call center, our roving correspondent, Chris Hand, is over there.
Oh, my gosh.
Where we're hearing the phones ring and the bells ring, and we love it.
We have the A-team of phone bankers down here, you guys. These guys are working so hard, taking your calls. I was actually just talking with my man Quentin, and he told me how quickly Nashville Rescue Mission can change your life. How fast can the Nashville Rescue Mission change your life, Quentin?
In less than 24 hours. In less than 24 hours, you can come in, man. You can get you a place to sleep. You can get you a food to eat, and you can also get a change of clothes. In 24 hours, your whole life can begin to change. You can accept Jesus in your life, and things go from there.
I love it. I love the hope that is in this building, you guys.
I spoke to Quentin earlier, and he has an incredible story. And Brian and Matt, you both know, and so does Chris, because we've been doing the interviews all day. The people who come to the mission, they come in hopeless and they leave filled with hope. Like you can hear the hope in Quentin's voice. And Glenn, talk a little bit about how this is an investment in people.
This is Glenn Cranfield, by the way,
Yes.
the president and CEO of Nashville's Rescue Mission.
Yeah, the best way I say it's an investment in life transformation. That's a huge word, but so powerful. We're not just reforming. There's people coming here and being transformed, a brand new life, new steps again, new jobs, get the family back together. It's phenomenal. And so, I walk around here on the campus all the time with a smile on my face and joy in my heart because I see people that came in broken. I see people that came in lost and undone. And now I see them with joy in their heart, with the spring in their step, and with hope in their eyes. And it just means so much.
And we've got 13 minutes, Brian, to raise how much money?
Well, we need about $15,000.
15. I guarantee you we're probably
Less than that right now.
Yeah, less than that right now. Maybe $11,000.
And one of the things that I've noticed over the 2 years that I've been doing it, and I know Glenn knows this and you guys know it as well, the number of individuals that after they go through the program, after they walk through those doors for the first time, they get off the drugs that they might be on, they get out of the seriousness of the situation that they might be in, and they find those recovery programs that are right for them. They come back and they become a part of the recovery program. Right. We talked to Norris. That's got to be a good one. That's got to be a good one.
Hey, we got some excitement down here in the phone bank.
Hold on.
What is it?
We got our friend Robert from Hendersonville just donated $15,000.
Yes!
Unbelievable, you guys.
That means that we will have. We are going to have an all-time record. Now, Dan, very quick.
Wow.
Wow, people are waiting.
Wow.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Rob.
God is good.
Wow, that is so
everyone.
generous and so gracious of you to do that. We are this is not even the end of it, because even though we have reached this level, we still have money that will be coming in through the online donations, which haven't even been counted yet.
No, we have money that comes in through the text line, online donations as well. So you're right. We've now officially smashed.
Yeah.
All right.
So
There you go.
Oh my
this
God.
is a big moment for us. Thank you to everyone who donated.
Everyone.
Whether it was $25 or $15,000, thank you.
But we're not done.
No.
We got about 13 minutes. And if you've been sitting on your hands and thinking, oh, gosh, I don't know, should I do that? Look, if you feel like you can, just call that number, 615-312-1500. Just, do what you can do. Help out. Make those phone rings. Make those little bells go ting-a-ling-a-ling, because every time that bell goes ting-a-ling-a-ling, we're adding to the total, and you are being a part of something that is transformative.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling.
That's amore.
That's right. That's right. You are being part of something that is transformative in the lives of people who come here, and really remember, the thing that makes this place special is the power of God. Right.
No question.
Because it transforms people's lives. And because they don't accept money from the city of Nashville, because they don't accept federal tax dollars, that they do this through the generosity of people in this community. They're able to pursue that faith-based approach, which has been so effective in changing so many people's lives. If you believe in the power of God, then I would ask you to contribute to something. Oh, no, we got something else coming in here.
Is this our new total?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, well, this...
So keep going.
Okay.
Our new total, is this $238,000 is our new total? $238,685.
Wow.
And is that the number of meals? 83,749 meals.
Wow.
And
So
again,
good.
that is $238,685. We have smashed.
And you know,
our record.
whether you give $2.85 or $2,800 or the donation that Robert gave,
Remarkable.
thank you. God
Yeah.
bless each and
Thank
every
you.
single one of you.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
so
is
much.
amazing.
All right, listen, we have to take a break here. It is, and we're going to push hard all the way to the top of the hour. If you've been sitting on your hands and thinking about it, now is the time to take action. 615-312-1500. It's 650 on Super Talk 99.7. I tell you, Eurofix has a very different business philosophy. They staff all of their locations with more staff than the average auto repair shop, just so they can be ready when your emergency pops up out of nowhere. And listen, have you noticed how hard it can be to get a right now appointment for vehicle repair? Some dealers, it can be more than 2 weeks just to get an appointment, but not at Eurofix. Eurofix has been offering quality repairs that beat the dealer without dealer pricing since 1999. Plus, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and, more importantly, perhaps the staff to fix your car now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. If you're tired of waiting forever to get your car into the shop, call the folks at Eurofix. Owner Aaron Stokes says, we will never be too busy for all our customers. We're here to take their pain away now. Eurofix repairs all European cars, and Eurofix says yes to speedy repairs when others can't or just won't. Family owned for 24 years. Call 844-EUROFIX or visit myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. That's right. The call is 615-312-1500. That's 615-312-1500. Listen, we have about 6 minutes and change left here, and I would like to go around the room and have everybody throw in their final parts. And if you don't mind, I'd like to wrap it up here. So let's start with Dan Mendes.
I got 2 words. Thank you. I mean, we could not bring in another cent, but we've hit the record, and it's been such an amazing broadcast. Thanks to everyone who donated and is still donating. And 615-312-1500. Text the word meals to 52236. Thank you to everyone who donated, and thank you to you 3 as well. Brian and Matt and Chris, for the incredible job that you have done today. Just amazing, and thank you all.
All right, Dan, and let me just say again, you're such a trooper to be here on a day like today. We're all in awe of your ability to get this done on a day when you learn that your mother has passed. Yeah. And it's a difficult thing to go through, I know. And so my heart and prayers are with you as well. And thank you for being such a trooper and being such an important leader here on this team. We greatly appreciate it.
Well, and leading by example, too. It would have been so easy for you to take today off, and nobody would have second-guessed it, but you're here, and you're grinding it out with us, and we respect the hell out of you, Dan.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Matt Murphy.
You know, we, the 4 of us particularly, and maybe to a certain degree Glenn and his team, we live in a world where we see a lot of negativity, and we talk about a lot of negativity. And every day it seems to be another story about how America's going to hell in a handbasket, how things are going wrong in our country and in our world. Today and days like today remind me of the goodness of human beings, the goodness of people. That they are willing to give whatever they can give. They're willing to do whatever they can do to help their fellow man, whether they ever meet them or not. It reminds me what a wonderful, wonderful world we live in. We often lead ourselves into the belief, into a corner, that we are a world that has been disrupted so much so and fractured so much so that it cannot be repaired. And Glenn and his team and this organization reminds me that through the grace of God, we can get back to a semblance of love and civility and respect to our fellow man, and we're there in a lot of ways. And so I just want to say God bless you to Glenn and his team at Nashville Rescue Mission, and it's just an absolute privilege to work around you, man.
Chris Ann, this is your first one. I'd like to have your thoughts and tell us, what you'd like to say to the audience.
Well, for the small part that I played in this, I'm
huge.
I'm just so blessed to be a part of this team with you guys. One of the reasons why I wanted to work for Super Talk 99.7 was the incredible impact that you guys can make in the community, and to be able to be a part of that today, I just feel blessed to be able to go home and talk to my kids about the good work that we did today. It's a proud dad moment, and I know that there's a lot of parents out there that probably are going to have those conversations with their kids tonight because of the Radiothon and because of the donations that they made, and to be able to make that small of an impact, which is going to end up being huge for a lot of people, feels really good, and I'm really proud of this team.
Glenn, I'd like to draw you in here in the last closing minutes. You're the president and CEO of the Nashville Rescue Mission. We've just shattered our all-time record thanks to the kindness and the largesse and the generosity of so many people in our area. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are so much gratitude for Nashville, Middle Tennessee, all of your listeners. It's incredible, but special thanks to you guys, the hosts, Dan and Brian and Matt and Chris, to see your passion for the hurting, to see your passion for the homeless, and to communicate that to Middle Tennessee. These people really do care about what goes on here at Nashville Rescue Mission, and it shows, and I am humbled by it.
Well, we are humbled, quite frankly, by what we see here and the things that happen each and every day. I've got about a minute and change left here, and we're hoping that the new numbers will run down the hallway so that here they come right now. This is not the final number, but it's because we'll have some stuff that'll be added in tomorrow, and you'll have the final number tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
But as we close out here today, $242,034.
$250,000.
Yeah, baby.
I think by the time we add in some other stuff, we may be really knocking up against $250,000. And listen, I thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. If you want to make a quick donation right now, there's still some time. 615-312-1500. Dan, go over the ways they can do it online very quickly.
You can text the word meals to, oh gosh, Brian, you put me on the spot.
52236.
52236. There you go.
All right.
And
listen,
online at the websites.
Thank you so much for being a part of what we do here on Super Talk 99.7. Thank you for your generosity. I thank you. The team thanks you. The Nashville Rescue Mission thanks you. And we, again, are humbled to be a part of a community that has such much generosity in it. And you've done a lot of good here today. Thank you for being a part of this.